Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappleville. We got something here that's kind of interesting. This was something that I actually put together on a podcast just on Sunday, just a couple days ago. And I've been meaning to do this type of a diorama here. This is Eowyn, and this is the Glittering Caves. Basing bits here from Make It Epic. And I did this again on the podcast. It only took a half an hour, 35 minutes, something like that, to just get her on the base and then build up this stuff right here. It was really fun. I have to say, I had a blast doing this. I'll probably try and do this again as some kind of a demo video or something like that, because there's some more things I'd like to do to this. I don't know if we'll be able to paint the base there. Hey, Surface Tension, nice to see you. Yeah, Surface Tension, you are the first one in here. So check this out. We've got a Eowyn diorama here. And I've been wanting to do this Glittering Caves thing for the longest time. Been waiting since probably about, 2003 to paint this miniature right here. The best part of waiting 20 years is that you maybe finally eventually get to actually do it. So we're going to see what we can do with this figure here. Obviously not super complicated. I was thinking about doing some, maybe not necessarily object source lighting, but some kind of backlighting or something like that. I don't know if that's really going to work so easily, but I thought maybe if it's coming from this way, some kind of bluish light from this side, I don't know. But Surface Tension, I hope that you're doing well. I might just do the pre-glaze first on her, and then if I think we're going to get to this, maybe on this thing too. There's, oh gosh, you can't really see it in any of these references right here, but the references I was able to find, it's sort of like all the kind of stalagmite stuff that was going over the top of these was more of a yellowish type of deal. Hey, Crazy Wolf. So yeah, Crazy Wolf, I'll try and get that thing out. Well, let's put it this way. We have a house guest coming on Thursday. And I thought that was going to happen, I don't know, about 3 weeks from now, not like in a few days. So yeah, that's another fun thing, Crazy Wolf. Hey, Landrest, how you doing? And Doji, nice to see you. So this is that Eowyn figure that we've been talking about for a long time. There it is, sitting over there on the left-hand side. I did this little quickie diorama. Again, this was during the More Than Dice podcast here, and I thought it could be really fun. Now, I'm going to try and do this one again. I always have to print up a bunch of basing bits again. But I was going to try and maybe do this again and hopefully record the process. Hey, God's Alter Ego, nice to see you. Now, here's another one. Let me see if actually, before you see that. So this is the latest Patreon video right here. This is the latest one. And like you can see, it has a little bit of freehand on there. Just a smidge of freehand. So yeah, this is the latest army painting series right here. The series 31. Obviously, I got one more episode from series 32, and that should be really fun to get that going. Now here I'm going to show you another one that we did on the podcast. This is going to be filmed because I want to try and show you a few different ways of maybe doing the foliage on these trees. And then we got this little Radagast brown over here. Alright, there we go. Now that's a bit more even. Alright, well, Doji, you have a good one. Sorry that it's a little bit late for you there. I kind of figured I wasn't going to be able to stream tonight just with the way things are here. It wasn't the greatest day ever. Actually, yesterday wasn't the greatest day ever. Neither was the day before that. So we're just trying to exist in whatever mode we can. But I'm going to try and get a little perline black, a little bit of the indigo going here. Maybe more indigo, something like that. So this is an old metal figure. Couldn't tell you exactly when the heck this thing came out, but my guess is 2002, 2003. It's a Two Towers figure. Now, of course, apparently this Sunday, of course it's at 8 in the morning my time. That's just going to be fantabulous. There is some kind of Lord of the Rings or, Middle-earth strategy battle game presentation that's supposed to happen. So I don't know. Some of the rumor is whatever is about a new starter box. We'll see. We'll see about that. Obviously, they just did Warcry for the 100th time in the last few years. You know, there's been, I think, 4 or 5 new Space Marine boxes that have come out in the last week or so. Because, you know, it's all about the Space Marines. Thank you so much, Surface Tension. Appreciate that. Surface Tension, if you want to shout yourself out or anything like that, that's fine. Armored Wolf is at, not Adepticon, but at Gen Con. He's setting up in booth 2713. So booth 2713, that's where Armored Wolf is going to be. So hopefully folks that are at Gen Con, if you're there, you're watching this, don't forget to go to booth 2713, look for Armored Wolf. So God's Alter Ego, how long did KT last? Was it, I don't know, maybe 2, 3 years-ish, something like that? Now, thank you, Crazy Wolf. Well, Crazy Wolf, that right there, that's 9 months. So we don't know what that means. You drink something like this, 9 months later, you have 9 months of subscription. How does that go? So thanks again, Crazy Wolf. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's interesting because I didn't really hear too much about Kill Team. I guess it was all pre-heresy, right? It's all pre-heresy stuff now. That's kind of the latest, greatest thing that everybody's into. But yeah, there was a couple of things with the Lord of the Rings stuff. I was like, boy, this has been a stable system relatively for 20 years. I don't know. I hope that kind of stays that way. Surface Tension Painting has been a very stable source of subs there for 7 months. Thank you so much, Surface Tension. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Well, God's Alter Ego, I hope that, I don't know. Let's see, the first War Cry, that, ironically enough, the first War Cry, that came out maybe well, let's see, it was the summer, basically the summer that before Adepticon was canceled. That was the first version. Then I don't know when the second one came out exactly, but then this new one, it seems to have some kind of a Nurgly thing. There's some kind of a Nurgly thing, and then it looks like they took the Easterlings, especially. Ooh, yeah. It looks like they took the Easterling acolytes, changed them up a little bit, and said they're for Warcry now. That just it very much had the vibe of Easterlings to it. So, well, I don't know how much it's going to cost. Ooh, gee, that doesn't sound good there. God's Alter Ego. Yeah, that doesn't sound very fantastic at all. Oh gosh, now let's ask. So some of the things they were talking about for Lord of the Rings was it would have a new board size because then there would be terrain, kind of like Warcry. And who knows, maybe they do something like the Warcry cards. Do people really use those very much, or do people more just set up and play the game? Just not sure. Again, I never got a chance to play it. We were supposed to start playing it at the Adepticon that never was. And, well, we never played it ever. Actually, no, wait. Kathy got to play a couple of games at the Adepticon staff meeting back in 2019. But me, not so much. Okay, Surface Tension. Yeah, we're just getting started here. We're just getting started. So thank you so much, Surface Tension, and we'll see you back in just a bit. Now, what I might do is zip out here just a smidge, and what the heck? Maybe I will start throwing some stuff onto this base right here. I mean, we got it after all. We have the stuff out here. I'll just do that. And I might even just let it sit on here for a while we actually work on the Eowyn figure. Because reason, hey Rottweiler. Okay, so God's Alter likes the cards, made him for a kill team. So everybody please give Rottweiler 1616 a follow because Rottweiler's still streaming right now. So yeah, I mean you can lurk here and go check out Rottweiler, or you can just lurk on both of us or have us both talking at the same time. Yes, we could both be talking at you at once. That won't be a mental strain at all. But Rottweiler, nice to see you. Here, we're just again gonna keep slamming in some of these darker colors here. Sometimes it's gonna be Van Dyke Brown. Sometimes it might be more like the indigo. Now, what I could do is all these sort of the drippings of the stalactite stuff. I could just take the heavy gloss. Ooh, you know what? I should do that. I should do that with the heavy gloss gel. Put some color in it, and then just kind of drip that stuff over the top, almost like it's wax or something. That could make for an interesting video. Again, I have no clue how the heck that would work. I've never done something like that before. We're listening to the Black and Yellow House Baratheon. Boy, Landrest. Oh, you know what, Landrest? I forgot to send you a picture. Gosh, I don't know. Well, let me see here. Let me see if I can bring that up somehow on my. No, no, that would that be here? It's probably not going to be here, is it? No, that's just my photograph, sadly. Um, I don't know. Here, Landris, let me see if I can't maybe send this to you somehow. But I've never actually tried doing something like this while I'm streaming. Oh, wait. There they are. All right, so Landris, I just sent you a picture of those. Tell me what those remind you of. I think it'll take you all of about 2 seconds to look at those and go, huh, that's what those guys are. I thought that was kind of interesting. So Rottweiler, I hope that everything's going well. I could swear that oh, actually, well, no, you don't. You're streaming right now. It's gonna be difficult for you to post an Instagram link while you're streaming. So once you're done streaming or something like that, you wanna post any links in the chat. That's fine. So yeah, Landress, I was thinking of trying to snag that because that's the August release. The key thing is take a look at those horses. Those are pretty realistic horses, wouldn't you say, Landrast? Now, I have no idea if the riders are separate from those files. I'm guessing they're separate. So, as much as we love the Rohan stuff, I mean, we got a little bit of it, right? Dark Angel's Honor, how you doing? Okay, and oh, wait. Time out. We got it here somewhere. Somewhere we have it. Oh, there he is. There he is. We will greet our Dark Angel with a Dark Angel. There he is. Dark Angel's Honor, how you doing? And see, look at that. We got something very appropriate for you. Hey, Space Toy, how are you doing? Let me see. So, Space Toy, nice to see you. Again, sorry that this is so much later. Well, actually, for a lot of the folks in Europe, it ain't so late. It's actually kind of early. It's 1:32 in the morning here. And thank you. Hey, Dark Angel's Honor, thank you so much. We appreciate that sub. Thank you so much.
So say we all.
Oh, geez, Dark Angel's Honor, thank you so much. We also have a raid from Artemis Rose. So thank you so much, Artemis Rose. If everyone can please give Artemis Rose, oh yeah, Artemis Rose a follow, that would be sensational. So right now, you've caught me right at the start. We're just getting started with our oils here. And thank you so much, Dark Angel's Honor. Look at that. And Burnsy, Snowiak, and Juno. Hi, Juno. And Cutthroat Cure. So everybody also please and follow Inquisitor Burnsy and Cutthroat Cure. So Cutthroat, if you want to show anything in the chat that you've been working on, I know you've got the MCP stuff going hot and heavy. You want to put that in the chat, that is very cool. So thank you so much, Dark Angel's Honor. Appreciate that. What are we chucking in here? We're mostly using indigo and this, what we call the pre-glaze. So where's our, So as messy as all this looks right now, believe it or not, this guy right here, we did this what last Monday? Yeah, I think this was last Monday's stream here. This looked just as messy. All the freehand, all that other stuff. Believe it or not, it looked it looked just like this nasty thing right there. Ah, Artemis Rose also working on Marvel Crisis Protocol. Artemis Rose, if you want to post any, hey, MTLAs, if you want to post any kind of links or anything to Instagram, Discord, anything that you are working on. Now, this was our last stream. When was this? This was Saturday, right? I think this was our Saturday stream. This is a 3D print from Archvillain right here. And just a little bit of object source lighting. And I'm just going to double check some. Ah, look at that. We're really starting to get the hang of these things here as far as getting this stuff to dry really fast. Again, this is all painted with oil paints. So MTELE's, let's see, you already went to your one convention, right? Here's another example of some object source lighting right here. Multiple light sources. We also like to do a lot of freehand here. These guys might have had just a little bit of freehand on them. Not just the shields, but the shoulder pads, the banner, even the bases. Also some freehand there, the pauldrons right there. So we had a blast with these guys. Painted all of them up on stream. And here's some more examples of our object source lighting. It's just really fun doing this. Really sets a theme. And then you have all these really nice grayed down cool colors. And then all the warm colors over here. So MTELE's nice to see you. Here, we're going to show you a little something. We've been waiting for this to set a little bit more, and I think it's pretty well set. So see how we're wiping away some of this paint right here? Not all of it, just some of it. Let's get the sponges activated over here. This is one of my favorite parts. Lots of folks just kind of, I think, flee in terror from it because they have no idea what the heck is going on. But look at this. See, it's all ready. The nice thing is instead of zenithal priming, which you're just going to paint over and cover completely, well, guess what? This right here, we can mix with this, right? Because this is all still wet paint. They may not look it, but that's all very much wet paint there. So this is how here, we just did our newest army painting series right here. And thank you so much. Hey, Sarge. Sorry it's so darn late, Sarge. It wasn't the greatest day in the world. Yesterday wasn't so hot either, so sorry about this being a little bit later. That's why I couldn't stream yesterday. But thank you so much, Sarge. So again, here is unit of Lannister Red Cloaks. Yeah, Lannister Red Cloak. As you can see, there's a little bit of freehand on these guys. We just finished this video up yesterday. Just finished that up. Actually, hey, Sarge, did you get a chance to see this? Because I swear that you were in the chat. Actually, weren't you also in the raffle there, which John won? Which are we calling shenanigans on the fact that John won that one? I don't know about that. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad MTELES and everybody, please give MTELES a follow because MTELES is doing a whole bunch of stuff with MetaZoo. So please, actually, hey, MTELES, why don't you post some links of some of your Insta stuff there on the MetaZoo and some of your Space Marine stuff. So MTELES, how many demo games did you actually do? I can, you must have lost count by the first day, right? I'm sure. So everybody, please check out Artemis Rose's Scarlet. Now, somewhere around here, I've got some Marvel Crisis Protocol figures that we did on stream. I don't have any painted in oils. Let me see. Can I find one? I don't see one over there. I don't see one over here. So unfortunately, I can't find them. They're pretty well buried. Much to Landrast's chagrin. But yeah, they're pretty well buried. Hey, Trauma Train, nice to see you. Yeah, the only time I ever did demo games of anything was at Gen Con, ironically enough, years ago, and that was Wild West Exodus. That was the last thing that I did demo games of. And even then, I wasn't supposed to be doing that. Essentially, the guy that was supposed to be doing that just left. I was supposed to be the one painting the miniatures, talking about the miniatures. So basically, I just grabbed my miniatures and started doing demo games. All right, here oh, I think we're almost done there. So Sarge, I hope that I don't know, I hope that hobby purge is getting close to an end. I hope that's somewhere. I don't know. Do you think you're at
So say we
the
all.
final stretch of that? Bithron, how you doing? So Bithron, I know that it's been a little bit of a grind for you on the hobby side there, just trying to find something that really solidly catches your fancy. Hopefully, you can just kind of, I don't know, with shifts not changing quite so rapidly, maybe you can kind of get that mojo back because well, you were cranking out the buildings, you're cranking out the tanks. If you want to show off your finished tanks, that would be sensational because love us some captured finished vehicles, right? We love those. All right, so here I'm just going to let that set. See how that's all kind of glossy? Remember this, when we hit this, it wasn't quite so glossy anymore. So that was the Roswell event. Yeah, M. Tillies, I saw some of the pictures, some of the pictures that you sent of that. There's the Rottweiler raid. Everybody, please give Rottweiler 1616 that follow. Yeah, it's right. I mean, sometimes it's best going back to the old minis. Now, of course, and your War Machine stuff that was looking really good. This is an old figure. This one, I'm gonna say that has to be about the same age as this one right here. This is actually an old metal figure. This is a Dol Amroth Knight. We painted this one up on stream a couple weeks ago. And this new one, this is Eowyn right here. And you can see over in the corner there, we have some movie shots down there. That's the scene that they never made. They partially filmed it, never filmed it all the way. I would have really liked seeing that in the movie, but who knows? Maybe in the super extended versions. Somehow they bring her back and manage to finish off that scene somehow. I don't know how that would work, but maybe they could do that someday. So I saw the group picture of everybody there, and hopefully everybody came back all in one piece, because that would be good. I actually do have a little bit of the Severus blue out here. I don't know. I'm gonna start off with this here. See what happens with this. You know what? I might just chuck a little bit of the Severus blue in there. See what happens here. And this is very much a dry brush. But it's not a dry brush because, like, you see how that darker color that's already starting to
So
get on
say
our
we
brush?
all.
This is the difference between, say, a dead kind of, what would you call that, the zenithal priming versus our pre-glaze. Thank you so much, Sarge. Appreciate that. Look at that, 26 months. 26 months. Please, everybody, check out the links posted by Rottweiler. There's a Discord and a Etsy. So check out the Rune Forge painting. I almost said Rune Frog. Sorry about that. The way the chat had it, I was like, Rune Frog? That's not what I remember. But Rune Forge painting. Yes, check that out, please. So thanks again, Rottweiler. Look at that. See that? See that darker color on the end of the brush there? What does that mean? That means this paint is mixing. Ooh, I see we got a little chunk of our metal right here. We're just going to get rid of that. There we go. And all the while we do this, we are mixing. See, look at that. See that darker paint on there? So thank you so much, Sarge, for the sub. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's... Here, let's get a little bit more of this. That's going to be the other... Yeah, that should be darker. Let's maybe throw a little bit of some kind of a reflected light onto here. Maybe a little bit down there. A little bit over here. This is by no means our latest color. We're just kind of getting started there. I just want to have a little something I can work from. That's all. That's all. This should happen really, really fast. Why fool around, right? Why fool around forever? And we can just kind of blast through these things, get some very nice results too. Let's see down there into the acrylic. Look at see that dark stuff on the end of the brush there. It wasn't there a second ago, was it? See how we can smooth that out very nicely. So Rottweiler, sorry I don't have my graphics down here. I had to just remove graphics because of all the crazy things happening with the machine. But you could just send me a message to Wapelius on Instagram. Yeah, just Wapelius on Instagram. It's the same as my Twitch handle here. It's the same exact one. It's pretty much the same on everything. I think I'm also Wapelius on eBay and everything else. I kind of got stuck with that years ago. And by years ago, I mean literally 20 years ago. Ever since, we've been stuck with that. So if you're going to give yourself some kind of a moniker, just realize you're stuck with that for, well, ever and ever and ever. All right, Sarge, you have yourself a good one. Sarge, I'll just shoot you a message, kind of filling you in maybe on some of the goings on here. Again, there's just not much in the way of info, unfortunately, to tell you, but we'll try. Again, I'll shoot you a message tomorrow and kind of see how things are going for you as well. Time to do some stuff with her here. So yeah, Rottweiler, if you don't mind shooting me a message at Wapelius on Instagram there, that is either that or Facebook Messenger. Those are the two best ways. The worst way is Discord. I will never see that. I guaranteed I will never see a message on Discord. So for anyone that's ever sent me a message there, it's most likely gone unseen and will remain unseen. So you want to probably shoot me a message via, again, Instagram or Messenger. Those are the way, as they say. That's how you get that done. Ooh, Space Toy, that sounds sensational. Also, too, if you have any links, I don't know if you've posted it to Instagram or anywhere, but if you want, or just you want to post your regular links there into the chat, and everybody please also give Space Toy a follow. So yeah, Space Toy, be sure to show folks what you've been working on too. Sorry if I miss anybody. Again, it's just kind of been one of those sort of days. So the brain is not really at a high functioning status. So I may need to think about something once or twice before it actually gets spit out of my face. Hey, Clinton Hobbies. Speaking of Instagram, Clinton Hobbies, I saw your post on Insta earlier today, so you should also post that into the chat there so that people can see it. Because I saw it, I know that, and I figured maybe you might be in here, so you could maybe pop that into the chat as well. I'm gonna have to try and do some gold, I think, on that part there, so you can see this is really starting to accelerate quickly here. Yeah, Space Toy. There was a lot of life stuff. I know you were saying kind of some of the just not so fun things that you had to deal with along the way. What am I gonna do with it? Yeah, I'm gonna here. Let me actually grab my picture here. Okay, so you know what? Let's try this first. Let's try this first, like so. Okay, and then I'm just gonna let that sit there. Let me see if we can start to get the darker, and that's more of a, wow, that's almost more like a Van Dyke brown or something. Okay, well, how's about we go this way with it maybe? Almost more like a pinline wash. Uh, Let me look at a different picture here. 1 second. Let me see what we got here. That's not the one I'm looking for. That's the directory I'm looking for. And that's the picture that I'm looking for. Okay. So I'll say that's also supposed to be darker. Oh, that's what those are. All right, just trying to identify what some of this stuff is. Here, let me get a little bit of the asphaltum working into this too. And I think we've got that set. Let's darken this up a smidge. Okay. Then we got a couple of brushes out here. Actually, Space Toy. I was just about to ask you if any of those are meloxicam because that is what's been used here. Unfortunately, the situation here has not been super fantastic. I'll have to say that it's this week. Well, the last few weeks have not been the easiest, and just it hasn't really gone obviously the way you would like it to go for sure. Now, glad to see that you're on the mend there. But it just seems like we mention meloxicam to people. It's like, oh yeah, I'm on that. So and so's on. Everybody's on meloxicam apparently. Here I'm thinking it's some kind of an unusual thing, but every second person we see is like, yeah, I'm on that too. And everybody, please check out Clinton Hobbies and their Insta link. See how we kind of changed up the darks there just a smidge. Just a smidge. Now, there was a fair bit of thinner in those, so I'm going to have to leave that alone, and we're going to have to maybe start messing around with the face here. Let me see if I can't throw in a little bit of, yeah, here, a little bit more of a rosy type coat in a couple of places here before we start getting into some of the lighter tones. So I haven't heard of the naproxen. That's a different one right there. And of course, obviously, we're hoping that you don't have to deal with that too much, kind of, for too long, because that would be. I mean, you really don't want to have to, right? For sure. Here, let me get back to. There we go. I'm gonna bring up this picture now. So sorry, I'm just bringing up a couple of images here. That's more like it. Okay.
Who enters my domain?
Hey, Nosferatu. Thanks, Clinton Hobbies. I appreciate that. And we have Steep Tea. Steep Tea coming in with that raid. Hey, Rifcan. So everybody, please also give Steep Tea a follow. So Steep, how the heck are you doing? Now I wonder, am I still zoom? Oh, I'm still zoomed out. That's why. Well, we'll just stay that way. So we are actually working on a fun little diorama here, but with a removable miniature. So the whole idea of this, and I actually did this all on a podcast on Sunday. The idea, and you can see here, that's the little thing for the miniature here. So I got Lord of the Rings miniature. This is Eowyn. This is the Glittering Caves scene right here. So everybody, please give Steep Tea a follow. We're going to treat everybody to some, look at this, Steep. The wonder of oils, right? And the removing of the paint. Yeah, look at that, how fun that is. These are all 3D printed bits from Make It Epic Basing. So here I'll show you another little diorama that we did also on that same podcast. There you are. So this is Radagast the Brown here. And these are, again, from Make It Epic Basing. So there's Radagast, and we use desert, dry clay, tree bark, all these printed bits. So much fun stuff. I'm actually going to try and print out some bunnies from Make It Epic, and we're going to try and incorporate those. So what I'll do is I'll just paint those up on stream or whatever, or whenever, and then we'll just stick those onto the diorama. Might be something that I film, who knows. So Jill, nice to see you, and thank you so much for joining us here. Appreciate that. So again, we're using traditional artist oils. I'll show you some of the other things that we painted over the course of the last week or so. So here's this was last week was. Thank you so much, Jill. I appreciate that. Last week was Cavalry Week, and this was the first thing that we painted here. This is a Knight of Dol Amroth. It's actually a 3D print from Medbury Miniatures. Now we're going to welcome in Jill. Thank you so much for that follow. No, he says, hello, little hobbits. He says, really? So where the heck have you been? He's like, oh, I was detained. It's like, yeah. So in the meantime, it's like, Uncle Theo, not in good shape. Why don't you go give him a hand right there? He's like, oh, Saruman's bugging him again, huh? So thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, this was now this was a little older. Believe it or not, these two miniatures were probably made in 2002. They could be that old. So you're talking 20 years old on both of these miniatures. I painted them both with the oils. Here's how we. Here's another thing from Cavalry Week. I think let's go with maybe this one right here. Yeah. So here's another figure from Cavalry Week. That's from Song of Ice and Fire. And we concluded Cavalry Week with just a wee bit of object source lighting. This is another 3D print. This is from Archvillain. So might have done just a smidge of object source lighting on him. So steep, this one is a 3D print from Medbury, and this is an ancient metal figure. This is solid metal. The whole thing, even the banner, is metal. This thing weighs a ton. And yeah, I'm gonna need like a 2 or 3 rare earth magnets on the bottom of this sucker to keep it on to keep it on my piece of sheet metal there. Oh my goodness. So yeah, these two are 20 years apart. But well, we gave them the same color scheme, which was very fun. Well, Jill, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Now, of course, we also do a little bit of. Oh, wait, this is more appropriate. This is totally appropriate right here. Bam! Look at this. There you go. So sometimes we do a little bit of 2D art on the channel here every so often. Ah, this is gonna be really cool. And look at there's Eowyn standing right there. So that's very fun. And here's some more Rohan. So she's back here basically in the glittering caves. So there's your Hornburg right there. So Steep, if you want to share links to what you're doing, I know you started up a new miniature, right? I'm pretty darn sure you started up a new miniature after finishing off your Trevor project figure. So, oh, I'm gonna actually zoom back in here so that people can see what the heck we're doing. So, Steep, if you want to share the link for that, that would of course be fantastic. Here, let me get some of this naphthol red onto the figure here before we start getting into some lights. Well, Dark Angels, thank you so much for the kind words and for coming this way. Now we actually done a fair amount of Space Marine tutorials here. This is a little Ultramarine, a Smurf, also done with the oil paints. We had a blast filming this one right here. We'll have to do, I think, some vehicles there. And well, we've also got some. These are a couple of our army painting series that we've done. We've done a whole bunch of Ossiarch stuff. Lots of Ossiarchs. We also did a Lumineth series. And of course, well, again, we've even done some Warcry stuff, some Sisters. Look at this. Those are the same basing technique. It's cork and Sculpey. You paint a different design on that looks very different, right? So we had a blast doing these. These are a couple of more of our army painting series. Two figures. Oh, the Temple Explorer. So I think, Steep, I think I saw the KDM competition piece. I think I saw that on your Instas there. Pretty sure that's the one that I saw. And everybody, please go check out Steep T's links. Also, please give Steep T a follow and Rottweiler. Of course, hey, Full Wild. Nice to see you. Thanks, Steep. It's such a fun way to base the miniatures. It really is. That's a system that we first came up with, well, basically about 20 years ago. That system is almost 20 years old, and we've done it for plenty of armies. Now, of course, well, here I think we've got another one, maybe. Oh, it's somewhere. We've got another one here. Let me see if I can find that one for you, because it could be interesting. Oh wait, here's a Marvel Crisis Protocol. Yeah, that's MCP. This also is MCP. There's other ones around somewhere, but we did these two on YouTube Lives, I think. But yeah, this was at Voltron and Red Skull, I believe. Now here we've got some other fun types of basing, right? So this really does set the scene. This is a 3D printed miniature. That's just a resin bit from Green Stuff World, and that's just tree bark. Seriously, that's all it is just tree bark. Guess what that is? That's tree bark. On this, tree bark and 3D printed basing bits, again from Make It Epic Basing. Here's some more tree bark right here. And this was all done with the oils. You got the freehand there on our guy. Oh, thanks, Clinton. Appreciate that. And if let's see, we've got here we go. So again, here's another way to really kind of establish a theme for an army. Right, this is our done lending army here. So setting Rohan aflame. A little bit of quickie freehand on them too, but all it is balsa wood and a little bit of heavy gloss gel to create the flame effects. And of course, that same heavy gloss gel can be used to create waterfall effects. So look at that. So this is another 3D print right there. It's from Great Grimoire. This is the same stuff I use for icicles. I've even used it for thatch on roofs. So yeah, there is there's some lovely little waterfalls. Now here's our icicles. This is from Song of Ice and Fire. So see that little icicle hanging right there and all the other ones? That's that same heavy gloss gel. We call it Elementium because it does every element. Fire, air, water, you name it. We've done it all. So again, that's also part of this crushed glass snow. That's from Armored Wolf. So Full Wild, nice to see you. Rottweiler, what a good way to start with the oils? A couple of things. First of all, I got a bunch of them. Here we go. So color charts like this. So here's the Williamsburg burnt umber versus Windsor Newton, and you can see there's a difference, right? But you see how we mixed it with all these other different lighter colors to get a chance to see not just what it looks like, but how it behaves. You do enough of these, you got yourself a color library. You have yourself a color library. That is not bad to have at all, especially when you've got. Let me see if I can find some of these things here. There's this. There. So something like brown matter. Then we do something like this, and then we paint a miniature. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here, let's get a little toast there. Thanks, Rottweiler. I know you've done that before. I appreciate it. This, especially with things being so topsy-turvy here, we certainly do appreciate that. And also, Rottweiler. Ooh, here we go. So let me grab. I think they're down here. Yeah, there we go. So this miniature right here, I think this is also my YouTube channel. This is it. These 6 colors. That's all that was in it. And very simple. A miniature like this, you see how there's really big old broad surfaces here where you can use big brushes, get a chance to try out the wet blending and such. That is, make it easier for yourself. You could just take, say, this Van Dyke Brown and the white, or the Van Dyke Brown and the Brilliant Yellow Pale, and just use those 2 colors. That's it. Obviously, it won't, it'll look like more of a monochrome study, but that could be a nice easy way to kind of work your way into it instead of putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Right? I think what you probably don't want your first figure to be is something like, I don't know, this. Right? That could be a little bit troublesome if it's a very first figure that you're doing with the oils. Or let's see, something like this right here where there's so many different colors. This probably not ideal for your first figure. There's a heck of a lot going on here, lots of different colors and such. So I think keep it simple. keep it as basic as possible. Maybe even just work on a miniature that's still on the sprues, right? Just work on bits and pieces. Well, thanks again, Steve T and Clinton. Uh, I uh, let's say the non-Lord of the Rings ones, because I can go through the Lord of the Ring ones for you if you want. Arch villain for sure, and I did here. I can show you some arch villain stuff. Uh, these are all arch villain figures here. Uh, Also, they're really easy to print up as well. Here, let me get to some more of the. There we go. So all this arch villain stuff is really fantastic. Love the arch villain stuff. Now I also love Highland miniatures. Now that's kind of almost like classic Warhammer fantasy type stuff. I really enjoy their stuff. It's really fantastic. Now we also have, where's my Artisan Guild? This is another favorite of mine. Whoops, I think I went past it. There we go. I really enjoy Artisan Guild stuff. Again, that's another one that's obviously not Lord of the Rings themed. Now, let me see. Let me get back to my scene here. Can I grab him? Oh, here we go. Here's another Loot Studios. Because Loot Studios also has 72 mil versions like this. There's also busts, sometimes of the same character. Loot Studios is another good one. Lost Kingdoms is another one. We enjoy Lost Kingdoms a lot. We painted this one up on stream. Titan Forge is another one. Titan Forge, really enjoy the heck out of Titan Forge too. So those are, and oh, Monster Mini Mayhem. So that's from Monster Mini Mayhem right there. Hey Hemlock, nice to see you. So yeah, Hemlock, that is already up on the Patreons there. Now I have no idea where my base actually went for that. That just kind of disappeared somewhere. But yeah, that is the video where we talk about all of this stuff. So yeah, somewhere I'm not quite sure where the heck that went off to. That just kind of fell and then went somewhere. I don't know where that is right now, but we'll find it at some point. It's around here somewheres. Hey, Bush to Pyro, how you doing? Yeah, Bush to Pyro. Well, yeah, of course. There's this one, right, where we use Perline Black, which is a dark green. Seriously, our pre-glaze for this Blood Angel was actually a super dark green. Oh, and then, well, then there's also our Blood Angel right here. Or sorry, our Imperial Fist. That was actually the first one, wasn't it? I think we've done 8 of these, maybe. Yeah, surface tension. We've just been messing around with this here. We've actually been showing a lot of stuff, so we haven't really had a chance to do much in the way of painting. But that's the beauty of the oils, is that it happens very, very quickly, for sure. Here, we also got to make sure we thin some of this down. Thinning some of that down. Here, a little bit thinner. Let me see, oh, I also have a Raging Heroes one. That can be, their stuff is a little bit more difficult to print out. Let's see, the Monster Mini Mayhem can also be a little bit difficult to print out because it can be very dainty. Some of the Lost Kingdom stuff can be dainty. The Titan Forge stuff tends to be pretty solid. The Archvillain stuff, to me anyway, it's some of the easiest stuff to deal with out there. You never have to hollow their stuff. If it's not hollowed, don't try to hollow it, basically, because they tested it and they found out that the whatever it was did not print well as being hollowed. So yeah, if it's not a hollowed file on their pre-support things, yeah, don't waste your time. It's just not worth it, because they tested it themselves to see if it would work or not. So Full World, nice to see you again. And Steep, again, thank you so much for the raid, and Rotweather, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate it. That looks like we're past the halfway point. I think, yeah, that's about $3 past the halfway point, I think. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Again, it's been a little bit difficult and challenging over the last few weeks. Part of it is all the tests and everything, which continue to basically kind of show no results. And that's good in a way, but also not good in another way. Because it does mean that nothing happens. You just kind of stay in stasis. And obviously that's not ideal either, right? Now we're going to start getting, you know what? How's about some of the asphaltum and a little terra rosa? A little bit of terra rosa here. Start getting into this lighter colors here. So yeah, the color theory in oils, we just did another one. Actually, I think I just posted that one a few days ago, right? Gosh, color theory in oils 21. Yeah, it was episode 21. Can you believe it? We've done 21 of those things. And each one of them has a bunch of color charts or a color chart or whatever. And then we try and take the things that we see in a color chart and we try to apply those briefly to a miniature. Nothing fantastic, right? We're not looking to do a fully painted miniature or anything like that. Oh, geez, Rottweiler, thanks so much for the gift subs. Oh, Vitalish and Foxalotls, a Rumble too. And there's an Asmo. There's an Asmo. I see Asmo. Actually, what I see right here is sort of our. It's Radiant Gray. It's Radiant Gray. It's a little too radiant. We're going to chop that down just a little bit, I think. A little bit indigo. So thank you so much, Rottweiler. Appreciate that. Again, if everybody could please give Rottweiler that follow, that would be very kind of you. While you're at it, also please give Surface Tension, Space Toy, and Steep Tea. That's a lot of S's right there. I could actually say those all without running afoul of anything. Okay, there's a little bit of something there now, and that's just tree bark. Seriously, that's all it is just tree bark. Now, I wish I could find for you that one movement tray. But this is the thing, actually, Crazy Wolf. Yeah, I never got a chance to do the base on this thing. I want to be able to do the base on that before we try to paint that guy up. And I think we've got, here's the card for him here. Come on, there it is. So I think it would be really fun to do lots of golds and then maybe some kind of freehand on the, well, whatever those are. So thanks again, Rottweiler. Appreciate that. Here, let me get a little more of our light work in here on this. While some of that sets, again, just going to let that stuff set, why don't we start to do some lighter stuff on the sword here? Something like this. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute. What's going on with that? That doesn't look right. That just looks very messy. Of course it is. It's oils. It's gloriously messy. It's gloriously messy. Well, that is until we take something like a blending brush here. Something like this. So you see all those nasty bits right there? We're just going to take this and we're going to soften all of that stuff up. I'm going to take this over here again, that big old nasty sharp line right there. That's going to go away. Poof. Look at this one. That goes away. So that happened pretty darn quick. So how many seconds did that take? All kidding aside, that really just didn't take very long, did it? I could just see a whole bunch of people, they'd be way less afraid of fooling around with non-metallic metals if they just could take something like a blending brush like that and just literally blend the two things together. There's no layers, right? There's no layers, anything like that. So full wild, what you're looking to do to, okay, so full wild, here, I'll bring this one back out. Now there's a couple of different ways here. So now again, on this one right here, it was actually a very dark green. That's what was in the shadows. This one right here was more like Egyptian violet in the shadows, maybe even a little bit of indigo. So you could take something like that Egyptian violet, or is it diazonine violet, something like that. Now here you can, this is our naphthol red. So see it's got more of a burgundy look to it, a little bit cooler. Now we've got a warmer look, and this was the fanchon red. Yeah, so that was our fanchon. See a little bit warmer right there. So Egyptian violet, not a bad way to get some of those darker reds. Now here we also too. This is another one of our chapter studies right here, and you can see we got some warmer reds. That's the fanchon red right there. This had, I want to say, asphaltum, either asphaltum or brown matter. That was kind of your dark in the reds right there. So definitely an option for you. So Rumble, I hope that you're doing okay. Nice to see you. Nice to see you again. Here, let me see if I can start to lighten up her hair just a smidge here. Because as light as you think that is not as light as it can go. It can certainly go much lighter than that. Here, why don't we pop in some of this right over here. Yeah, we'll make that lighter. Now, I don't think I have my Eowyn sculpt in here, do I? Because I also sculpted a portrait bust of Eowyn. We did that on stream. We also painted it on stream. Again, I wish I had that here, especially given what we're painting right now. Oh, that would be so much fun. Here, just I don't want to go too light there. Also, I'm going to grab just a little bit of the Terra Rosa. See, change in the color temperature on that a little bit. So that's not all just the yellow. Now I can go back. This is the radiant yellow here, by the way. I'm going to get a little bit of my Indian yellow in there just to fortify that a bit. And we'll start to lighten this up. Let me also, I'm going to bring up yet another image here. Where's the back? There we go. I need to see what the back of the hair looked like. So I think I still have one more of this miniature here that I can do another diorama of. Yeah, maybe that one is more of a permanent piece. It's part of the diorama as opposed to sort of a removable, playable piece. There we go. So everybody please check out Steep T. Steep just posted the photos. Just posted the photos of what he was doing. So please go check out what Steep T is doing. And everybody please give Steep T a follow. Steep, if you want to shout yourself out, that would be good because Armored Wolf is at Gen Con. And Armored Wolf will be at booth 2713. So you want to get those dice bags and such from Armored Wolf. I don't believe he has any of the basing products there. I actually meant to ask him, but I think there just wasn't going to be room for that at their booth. It's hard enough for him to just get all their regular stuff in there, much less a whole new product line. But Armored Wolf also makes the crushed glass snow, the fantastic grass tufts, and everything else. Well, Rumble, I'm glad that you could hang out here, and there was a few reasons why I kind of waited. So what was it, 1 o'clock in the morning to start this my time? Part of just trying to get my head into the game, and then I thought if I wait till about 1, that would make it what, about 6 or no, about 7 or 8 in the morning in Germany, say. Probably 8 in the morning in Germany. I thought, well, maybe that makes it a little more accessible for folks in the UK, France, Germany, that sort of thing. So Steep, I don't have any commands Yeah, so the exclamation point is just going to be an exclamation point. It's a dead character here. There's no commands. Sorry about that. Yeah, we've been at this what 28 months now. We never did the commands. Of course, usually Armored Wolf is here, and he does all that fantastic moderation work, and that's why we want to also support Armored Wolf when he's off at his convention. He'll also be doing Dragon Con. So yeah, he's doing Gen Con this coming weekend. He'll be at Dragon Con. Was that Labor Day weekend or whatever? So here, let's get the sword hilt here. A little bit of this gold on there. Yeah, sorry about that, Steve. Yeah, there's it's kind of funny because I know that Blades, she was moderating Painterly Git's stream, and she was trying to do the whole exclamation point thing, and I said, "Good luck. I have no clue how that works. I have absolutely no clue. Never done that." I know some people have. Oh, was it Chatbot? I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think it's Chatbot or something like that. Yeah, don't have. Don't use that here. So Full Wild says that it is 0900 hours there. That's how you guys do that, right? Full Wild 0900 using the military time. Yeah, here it's only just going to be AM or PM. I try to keep apprised of time zones. Oh, actually, when does daylight savings time hit? In not daylight. Is it daylight save? Because it's fall back. Oh, that's right. I'm actually going to get me an hour back. Holy smokes! Yay me! I'm thinking, is that September? It's got to be in September or something like that, right? I don't know. But I know that in Europe, you guys do that at a different time than we do. I think you do it either a week before us or a week after us. Yeah, steep. I swear. Now, I wish I could be in way more people's streams than I can be in, but it seems like every time I'm in somebody's stream, I hear that dreaded phrase, the chat box not working. Why is the chat bot not working? I hear that over and over again every time I'm in somebody's stream. And I said, well, I don't know if that's the best use of my time trying to set something up when every single time I'm in somebody's stream, the chat bot is in revolt and so or on strike or uncooperative in some way, shape, or form. So again, we're just really quickly here trying to set up some of our skin tone colors. Speaking of skin tone, maybe we'll try and hit some lighter skin tone in here. Why not? She's fair and pale and everything. Oh my gosh, you know who we've never had on screen together? We've never. She's like, oh, good grief. Yeah, I will just chop your head off. He's like, well, you already have. You broke up with me by Palantir. Wasn't that bad enough? Jeez, now you're going to chop my head off too? It's like you're just crying like a little wuss into, hey, that's my handkerchief. Bithron, we never. How long have I been waiting to do that scene, Bithron? How long have I been waiting to do that scene? Full Wild has been liberated. Liberated from the stupid, worthless, useless daylight savings time. You know what? Maybe, I don't know. Is it the same here, or are they going to still keep us on that junk for a while yet? I mean, if Europe has ditched it, I don't know if it makes sense for anybody else to keep it, right? Let me see. Drake and Oakleaf says that it can be difficult to stop it from doing stupid stuff or not working right. Yeah, it's really weird. Well, Ride Ken Wife, she knows how to do everything right. Also, everybody, please give Ride Can Wife a follow and Ride Can Games with an S at the end. Ride Can Games and Ride Can Wife. So standard time back in early November. Hey, you, you thought I wasn't going to see that, right, Balrog? You thought I wasn't going to see that? I did. I saw that. So here's a Balrog for Balrog. Oh, and some goblins. There's a Balrog for Balrog. And of course, Alex the cave troll. He's like, whoa. He's like, hey, wait a minute. Those caves look way nicer than Moria. It's like, well, I don't know. The dwarves are coming this way too. He's like, well, whatever it is, don't give me any lambus bread. The other lady learned a really hard lesson about that. If you want to know what that means, hey, Dark Danigan, how you doing? Dark Danigan says, don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. Seriously, don't be hasty. He's like, whoa. He's like, it's a little bit crowded with the. Should you really be in a cave here? He's like, oof. Yeah, I already hit my head twice on those things. You're not an orc, are you? He's like, what do you think all these dudes around me are? He's like, they smell like orcs, but so do you. He's like, oh, just because I smell like an orc because I've been killing them. It's like, yep, she's been killing it all right. Thank you so much, Dirk Danigan, for joining us here. And Steep T is going to head off to sleep. Let me see. So thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. And Dark Danigan, yeah. Oh, so remember the diorama that I've been talking about forever? Here it is, glittering caves. 3D printed bits from Make It Epic Basing, a little bit of tree bark, a little bit of texture paste, and poof, Eowyn in the glittering caves. So Europe is still hanging on to the daylight savings time. Okay, okay, that makes more sense. Because I kind of thought that you were. Kind of thought you were going to be hanging on to that for a while. Because I guess we're hanging on to it here. And Dirk Danigan, we did another one. We also did one here with Radagast. And the idea again is a removable miniature. So you can take the miniature out, stick him back in there, whatever. So again, that's we'll probably be painting that up in a tutorial video. Speaking of which, let me get this out here. Looky there. So this just got posted to the Patreon page today. There might have been a little bit of freehand on the cloaks, and then TMM on the miniatures themselves. So these are the Lannister red cloaks. That's Army Painting Series 31. So everybody please give Steep T a follow. See what we're going to do? We're going to mix. That's a little bit of the Egyptian Violet. No, sorry, Radiant Violet with that Terra Rosa and a touch of the Asphaltum. A little touch of it there. So yeah, Balrog, gosh, there's that other Balrog that I was telling you about, the one from Kurzlik Miniatures. Oh yeah, so as far as the Lord of the Rings 3D printing guys, you can't go wrong with Diwali. I mean, we've done tons and tons of Diwali stuff here. We've done these guys. We've done, here's our elks right here. We've done so much from Diwali on stream. Printing Goes Ever On also. Printing Goes Ever On. We did all of the dwarves. Here's again more stuff from Diwali. Look at these fabulous trolls right here and warg marauders. Love those Kurzlook miniatures as well. So we've done a bunch of stuff from Kurzlook. Here's one of our elves, kind of a Rivendell knight. That is from, and then here's Medbury. Medbury miniatures. Now we've also done stuff from, oh gosh, Colbays. We've done stuff from Colbays as well. And let's see, I think we mentioned them all. There is somebody else that is, well, supposed to be sending me some files at a certain point, so hopefully they send me those. It would be yet another fell beast with a Nazgul on it, because, more Nazgul, more better. Especially since it'll give me basically infinite opportunities to do basing tutorials for fell beasts. And I actually have a tutorial on the Patreon page for one of those. We painted it up on stream. That will be the Witch King on Fell Beast. Oh, let me see if I can scroll on up there and find him. I think we went too far already. Where is our Witch King? Witch King is this king right here somewhere. There he is. So we made that base. That's all a bunch of Sculpey there. So that weighs a bunch. It's a lot heavier than him, and that was not just for appearances. It was also for gaming purposes, because flying bases, what do they want to do? They just want to tip over, right? They just want to fall right over every single time. That is, it was kind of designed not to fall over. Uh, Now, of course, I haven't had a chance to actually play a game with him yet, but that was the idea behind it, anyways. All right, let me put this one away here, and let me go to this one. All right, let's get some darks in here. I think some Van Dyke Brown, maybe. We need to darken up, I think, on the underside here of the eyebrows. We'll have to come back in, lighten those up again. All right, I think, yeah, then we can come back to the eyebrows there and get the lights on the top of that. So yeah, well, Balrog, it was the same thing with the Balrog too, because that's the I think I told you that's the old metal Balrog, like the original one. Seriously, I was digging around, I was looking for something else, and well, I dug too deep, and I found a Balrog, and it was the old metal Balrog, and I actually had to do. I used the heavy gloss gel to make the extra flames on him, because yeah, the original metal one does not come with that much flame work. Believe me, it does not. So we had to add a bunch of that. I might go with a little smidge of Prussian blue, and there's some of that. There's some of our dark green. That is the Perline Black. Go a little bit darker green, and then we'll try and come back with some of our lights as well. So again, everybody please give Steep Tea that follow. And of course, I also follow Rottweiler. And Rottweiler, thank you so much for all the gift subs. Thank you so much. And right, Ken Wife, I hope that well, I know think it's kind of an adventure for you there. There's a whole bunch of things going on. Hopefully, maybe, perhaps things are a little bit less adventuresome there. Ah, thank you so much. Oh, he has a Salamander's army. Well, thank you so much, Rottweiler. Well, here we can. Oh, here he is. Here he is. I've actually painted a bunch of salamander stuff. This was a tutorial video that I did. It was kind of fun because I got to do that warmer green color, and well, and a little bit of object source lighting too, because that's always fun. Little smidge of freehand right there. So yeah, this was a blast. I actually painted way back in the day a Land Raider and some assault marines, some salamander assault marines, and I swear there was a drop pod. Yeah, I think I had to do a salamander's drop pod back in the day too. That was a long, long time ago. But thank you so much, Rottweiler. Appreciate that. Appreciate everything. And definitely say hello. Well, I'll just say hello to your son. So you know what? Somewhere on the blog, I don't know where the heck it is, but there is a converted Vulcan that I did. I actually used some of my Lizard Man army bits and probably a Terminator of some kind or something like that to create Vulcan. So that was something I did way back in the day. Oh, well, that's cool, Rottweiler. That is fantastic. Well, I hope that he loves the miniature painting as much as we do. Cause oh my goodness, I would have loved doing this kind of stuff back in the day. Oh, that would have been so much fun. Here, we're just gonna grab our blending brush again, right? Do some of that. Yeah, right, Ken, wife. I know there's the physical, right, and there's the person who has the thing going on, but it has a blast radius, doesn't it, right, Ken, wife? I think they all have a blast radius, but some of them have a really big blast radius, and you just get caught up in the blast. It's like a stinking mortar round or something like that, and it's very insidious because you're just kind of there, and there's no recharging, right? There's no charging station for the caregivers. There is no such. Well, you can try. Now, chocolate covered raisins is a good charge. Well, the charge is temporary, I guess. So somebody is. It's just like when the kids get the dog. It's the dad who has to walk the dog in the middle of the night, or take the dog out in the yard in the middle of the night. So when the kids get the Imperial Knight, it's the dad that has to assemble it. Yeah, right, Ken, wife. And I know people will say, well, you need to get rest. You need to do this. You need to do that. And you say, well, that's great in theory. We would all love to sleep. Because we're not doing it because, or we're not sleeping because we enjoy it. There's just you never know what's going to happen next. It's a D6 random encounter chart, except you're rolling a D20. So there's lots of extra adventures in there that you didn't want. Yeah, you didn't want to be on that chart at all. You just want to kind of roll for initiative and get it over with, don't you? Instead of instead of just kind of poking around at the edges or just being poked in the eye. Now here we're just again working some lighter colors into this. It's got a few little different things. I didn't want it to be straight up greenish colored, and I might try to get a little bit of that reflected onto our sword blade. Where the heck is my blending brush? There you are. I'm gonna need a few other little colors in our sword blade there too, because if it ain't got magenta, it ain't metal. Say that all the time. Here, why don't we chuck a few more lights into the clothes here. I'll have to come back into that with some darks as well. But you see, this is not one gentle layer up, right? That was significantly lighter than what's on there. That's the whole benefit of the oils. You see, there's not a whole lot of mixing that happens here. This is where the mixing happens. This is really your palette right over here. This thing. So if everyone can please give Right Can Wife and again Right Can Games a follow. They are also it's a bit of a long-term type of a thing to deal with there. So please give Right Can Wife and Right Can Games all the support that you can, because when you're kind of in these type of situations, the only recharge, this is my recharge right here, is just hanging out with you guys. This is the only time I see anybody or talk to anybody or anything like that, so it is much appreciated, everybody that hangs out with me here. I mean, even in normal times, you miss the streaming when you don't get to do it. Obviously, Kathy really misses the streaming. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think we are a long, it could be months. It could be months before that happens again. So just so that folks know, it might take a long time before that happens again. which is unfortunate because she really misses it. We gotta start thinking about some of our later stuff over here. How's about indigo again? Ooh, that would be interesting. I want to see what happens with some of the brilliant. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of always a fun combination. The brilliant yellow pale and some of the indigo. May not be quite light enough, but to start with this here. Ah, okay. Ah, that's yeah, that would be it's a little bit late in life to learn that, and a little bit of a stressful situation to learn that, and that's not exactly one of the romance languages, is it? I mean, I had what 4 years of French. The darndest thing was, at one point I could read and write in French, but I couldn't speak it, and I couldn't understand it when it was spoken to me. Go figure. That's my tiny, tiny, tiny brain. That's how it is. So, yeah, well, Kathy's been learning Dutch. I do hope that in some kind of that she doesn't just start speaking Dutch to me, because it'll be a little bit difficult. It'll be a bit difficult. Of course, we watch uh, some of the different French mystery shows. What Magellan? Oh, there's the one crazy Agatha Christie one. There's Captain Marlowe. Oh, Murder In. That's the other French one. So I think there's and Blood on the Vine or Blood of the Vine. Yeah, so there's three French shows, obviously subtitles, and then of course there's Don Matteo, where we try to learn Italian unsuccessfully. So that well, see right there, right? Ken Wife, he rolled like an 18 on that D6 encounter chart, and you're like looking for it on the chart. It ain't on the chart. It's not even there. It's like, wait a minute, you rolled an 18. This only goes up to 6. Yeah, Balrog. I think she's been 2+ years on the Dutch. At least 2+ years studying that. So Dark Angel says that Rottweiler is in total war. He starts bringing you. Actually, that unfortunately Kathy's computer. Well, not that she can get to it anymore, but it just wasn't capable of playing anything but I guess the first Total War. It was just too graphics intensive, which is nuts considering that her machine was designed for streaming. Yet it's very much not adequate enough to be able to play most of the Total War stuff. All right, here's more brilliant yellow pale than indigo. I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of pin line into this. See, it's starting to turn a little bit too greenish there. I might have either wanted to stick with the turquoise here or the turquoise and the fast matte white. So we might have to shift this a little bit. No big deal. I don't care. Just do a pin line wash over it. So Rottweiler, hopefully he's not getting too frustrated. I'm trying to think the last time I played a video game, and that was a Civ. Well, there you go, Civ 5, and I only got to play that a few times. I think 2013 is the last time I played a computer game of any kind, or video game, or whatever. Yeah, 2013. That was only 9 years ago. My goodness. Yeah, I have to come back in, I think, with some of my indigo and do some pin line washes there and restore a few darks here and there. Let me see if I can't get a bit. No, I want to get some light there underneath the eyes. Let's just go with this for right now. Nope, nope. I'm going to take a little bit of green. Gray that down just a touch. Is there a piece of fuzz on the end of that brush? I think there is. So right, Ken wife, that's it's just one of the when you know what you're going to be facing for a long, long period of time ahead of you. It's that also. You just kind of it just makes you tired thinking about it. It really it does make you just that much makes you a little bit tired just thinking about it. Now let me see if I can't lighten this up a smidge here. We just got our white there, but I really wish I had that. Where the heck is that thing? Boy, I wish I had that right here to show, but I don't know where that little. Oh wait, no, it's not in there. I wish I had that bust that I could show you. It's a very fun bust. We sculpted that out of Sculpey and especially the epoxy sculpt, and that was a blast. So geez, right, Ken wife, that's so it's not the immunotherapy. It's not the immunotherapy. That's wow, right, Ken wife. That's interesting. I wonder how that works. Because I was that is it in some way, shape or form to get the body to try and do some work again, like use the body's own stuff to do some work against it. All right, let's get some lighter lights here. And this again, this is the fast matte white. Yeah, I think we can go a whole bunch lighter here. Let me see what happens. See what happens on our sword blade here. Oh yeah, that here. Let me also get some of these things out of the way. It's kind of a distraction there. Let's get the center of that blade, and then again some more light down here. We need to get some more edges. Edges are good. It's a sword after all. Ah, geez, right, Ken wife. Now, actually, I just heard from well, I didn't hear. It was they posted it on Facebook, I think, that they were actually able to get the PET scan that they have been fighting with the insurance company to get. And the insurance company was just not really willing to do that. And somehow he was able to get him to. I don't know if that's something that, well, geez, they'll do in that situation too. Since it'd be difficult for him to have a whole round and battery of separate tests just to find that kind of thing. So thanks, Bithron. I was really hoping you would get a chance to clip those too, especially the one with the very first meeting between Eowyn and Grima Wormtongue there post breakup. So thank you so much for that. Hey, Sleepy Slang, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. So Sleepy Slang, this is that diorama that I've been talking about for quite a while. So Balrog, there's certain oil colors that can just be a little bit more glossy. Phthalo colors can be. Reds tend to be more glossy. Now there's a couple of things that you can use. So things like these, the radiant colors, for whatever reason, they tend to dry extra matte. Also, things like Terra Rosa also will dry extra matte. And then there's also, now, there's this, the fast matte white. It's not like I'm mixing into absolutely everything, but that also kind of helps it to. But here's so this the Severus blue maybe has a little bit of a shininess to it, but the believe it or not, the ultramarine blue. Now that's only the Gamlin, or sorry, the Windsor Newton. No, not either of those. The Williamsburg that actually toned down some of the shininess. So some colors are just kind of naturally shiny. Now here we were using our own homemade fluorescence. There's no shiny there. And again, we just painted this one on what, Saturday. So yeah, Sleepy Slang. That's what the Make It Epic basing bits, and that was done on the More Than Dice podcast. So if you check out, I think they've got it on their YouTube channel. I've got to maybe ask Gonzo to see if he's got if he could somehow get me those files. Of course, basically what I want to do is take this and turn it into a tutorial video. So this was just kind of a test just to see. Now we used Daz air dry clay on the base. You can see how we stuck the miniature right into there because they wanted me to make miniature dioramas where the miniatures could be removed. So that's what we did. Okay. So Rottweiler, let me show you here again this is some of our Harad stuff right here. Now this is a 3D print from Davala. You can see we love our freehand designs. And now we've got some of our 3D printed stuff here. So there's a lovely little Aragorn right there. And these are both from The Printing Goes Ever On. This is another Moria Gandalf right here. And then we've got here, we love our Easterlings and our Rohan. So these are two massively converted figures. We did all the conversion and sculpting on stream, and we then painted them on stream. So a little bit of freehand on these guys. This is my Easterlings and my Rohan. Here's some more stuff that we converted on stream and then painted on stream. So a couple of Army of the Dead. Believe me, they don't. This is not how they come. These are some fire forged miniatures. You can see this is a Rogaine Lightning here. We took some Tomb King bits and a horse. This is the Army of the Dead. We chopped him off at the waist. Did some cloaks on him. So we love to do some sculpting here. And then of course, here we got some more of our Easterlings. And then here's some more of our Dunlendings. Where is it? Here we are. So Easterlings, our Dunlending army. We just did one of these. Oh yeah, we did a stream with those guys. And then of course, here's our Nazgul. And then here's some of our armies that we've done. Here we can. There's our Moria army, right there. There's our Wolves of Isengard and Dunlendings. Here's some of our terrain. So there's a couple of we built those and painted those on stream. Even started making Easterling buildings. And there's our watchtower and blacksmith. There's our archery range. There's our windmill. And then the not so great Hall of Erkenbrand. And then here's some of our Iron Hills. And then so we've got plenty. Let me see here. We've got there's our Davale elks right there. There's our Rohan Royal Guard. Those are all converted and painted on stream. All of those. And we also painted all of these guys on stream. So all of those Medbury dwarves with the object source lighting. And there's some Nazgul from Dol Guldur, and there's some regular ring wraiths for you. So that's a little sampling of stuff. Boy, Sleepy Slang. Well, here was I think this was a YouTube live session. This was with the contrast paints. Oh yeah, that's right. I think this is with the contrast paints right here. Let's see. That's great. And Sleepy Slang, if you want to post any Insta links or Discord links or anything to stuff that you painted so other folks can see it and then give you all kinds of fantastic words of congratulations and encouragement, that's great too. Let's see. So Sleepy Slang, unfortunately, several weeks ago, for whatever reason, Slobs just wiped out my microphone. I think it was part of an update or something like that. And then I had to, out of desperation, use another microphone. And ever since I put this one back, for whatever reason, my old scenes are on the old microphone, and I've got about 320 scenes. So unfortunately, there's not quite enough time to change those. Thank you so much, Rottweiler. Rottweiler, there's all those coins in there. There's a lot of coins in there. So please check out what Sleepy Slang just posted as well. Now, of course, I was supposed to do the big rebuild, right? New cameras, new mics, a new desk, a new everything. And I was supposed to start that project the day we took Kathy into the hospital that first time in May. It was supposed to be, remember, a Tuesday through Thursday rebuild. Unfortunately, that Tuesday afternoon, we took her to the hospital and she was there for 6 days. And unfortunately, we never got a chance to do any of that stuff. So we'll see if we can try and get that going here somehow. And we're still basically we don't have any idea. Well, they're starting to have some clues as to what's going on, but there is no, oh look, it's this, let's do this. It's more like, oh, let's just keep looking, which it's starting to reach a point now where there's no more time for that. Yeah, the time for screwing around with that is done. It's time to start actually doing stuff. Hey Pascal, how you doing? Everybody please give Pascal a follow. And Pascal, of course, you know you have to post your Insta stuff. You gotta get your Insta stuff posted so everybody can look at that and say, hey, that's really amazing. So Dark Angels honor. Kathy loves D&D. I mean, she loves D&D. That's one of the unfortunate things here is that she doesn't, well, at least right now, until we get her some kind of a computer that she can have where she stays now. She just is, it's just too much of a strain on her to do her usual RPG stuff. She was playing that 3, 4 times a week, every week, and she really misses that too. Um, Now, I my favorite what was that called? It was a Wild West game, Deadlands. That's the one. That was my favorite. I do have a couple of D&D characters that I sometimes play. Oh gosh, what was it? it's my uh, it's my bluegrass bard, Randall E. Snodgrass. The bluegrass bard. He has a +1 master-crafted washboard, and he plays all kinds of bluegrass. Because I think, oh, I've actually played that character on. It was, oh, Pyro Club was doing some charity, like 24-hour charity streams, and they did some D&D things, and I remember I brought out the Randall Snodgrass character for that. So Pascal, believe it or not, I've been waiting since, well, I don't know, when did this thing first come out? 2002, probably 2003, I would say. That's how long I've been waiting to paint this thing. Seriously. It's as old as this, I would think. So this is the one that we painted a couple of weeks ago. I think both of these figures, because this is from Two Towers, that that era. So I'm guessing probably late 2002, maybe early 2003. And of course, here is again, this is the diorama that she goes in. So when she's not being played with, she just goes right in there. And this is the glittering cave scene. So what I'm going to actually do, I think, is once we get all this painted here, then we're going to maybe do some of the stalagmite type thing over the top of that. Hey, Paint Station, how you doing? Nice to see you. And Deuce, nice to see you there. Hey Deuce, what is that transparent maroon from? Is that a Windsor, a Gamlin, or a Williamsburg? So Rottweiler, I had a well, let's say a very psychotic preacher really psychotic. But we're gonna add some indigo here to some of our darks, by the way, and now we gotta get some magentas in on this sword as well. Oh, and by the way, this is an hour and 39 minutes. This was all just primer, 1 hour 39 minutes ago. So yeah, it was kind of a psychotic preacher, and yeah, he was very much fire and brimstone, and I had a really fun story behind him. So see a little bit of dark. Look at that. See how much contrast that gives us right there. Oh, it's one of those new ones. Okay. Yeah, Deuce, I missed out on that, unfortunately. I believe when that happened, that was when yeah, we had the whole thing with the Adepticon stuff going on. So I wasn't able to partake of that. What, you buy 30 bucks of them and you got one of the colors free or something like that? And so I missed out on that one. Sleepy slang, the best way to think of it is, and I kind of think of it this still after all these years. I just say how much time went into it. If it was 10 hours, I mean, it's going to be this much. If it was 6 hours, it's this much. So that it's really mostly based on time, because well, time is money. Time is money, right? Now here's that magenta we were talking about. We're going to try and sneak some of that in here. I'm not looking to change the value. I'm just looking to change the color. So I got a little bit of magenta in there just to change things up. Now we got to do the same over here. That's going to be a little more delicate. So transparent maroon. Now, so Deuce, is the big tube 55 mil like the, oh gosh, what the heck is that? It's been so long. The Marion Street, or is it bigger than that? Yeah, so Rottweiler, she really, boy, I think as much as she misses the streaming, I think she also really misses all of the RPG stuff. She tried playing in her Wednesday night game, and that just took too much out of her. I think that was 2 weeks ago, and maybe if they started a little bit earlier, possibly that might make it easier for her. But yeah, that was a little bit too much for her. I mean, for me, the RPG stuff, again, if it's Deadlands, that's one thing. But for her, she really, really enjoys it. That's something she has done for the longest time. There, we needed to get a little more of the light right in here. Yeah, Rottweiler, hopefully there's a point where maybe she can join you guys. Uh, Now, oh, typically Rottweiler, when are you guys playing? I guess I should ask that. That's kind of stupid not to ask that. Should have asked that a long time ago. Here, let's get some more of our lights right over here. Very, very simple. It's just the radiant green and some of the fast matte white. So that is also going to keep this from getting too shiny. It's also going to make it dry faster. So actually, so Deuce, what is the next size up tubes that Windsor Newton has after your typical 37 mil? All right, here's a little more of our dark stat. Now let me see if I can get some asphaltum here on the shoes. Now that's hilarious because I see a little bit of the purple-ish type highlights on there, and I just was reaching for that all by myself. There we go. That's a little bit of the radiant violet mixed in with the asphaltum. So Pascal, I hope you had a chance to post your Instagram links there to all the fabulous stuff that you're working on. And everybody, please give Pascal that follow. Pascal, you're going to be streaming. Oh, geez, Rottweiler, thank you. Oh, yeah. Well, oh, we still got a few drops left. Thank you so much, Rottweiler. That is very important. That is very important because, well, let me, well, I don't know if I can find it for you here. No, won't be able to get to that. But there are some 3D printing files that could be, I think, make some really good tutorials. So we'll be, oops, sorry, we'll be putting that to use for sure. Thank you so much, Rottweiler. That's going to be a huge help because I was showing those to Landrast, and he kind of thought those, because not all horsies are sculpted the same. I mean, as much as we love Medbury, uh, I think Medbury, well, usually his miniatures aren't quite so stylized, but the horsies tend to be a little bit stylized. Oh, thanks, Rottweiler. Oh, actually, Rottweiler. Oh, gosh, I don't have all of them here. Ah, there we are. So I don't have the chariots in here. These are also from Medbury, and that's just one of my three Candish armies. Well, tribes. I'm trying to do basically sort of a We Three Kings type of thing. So there's actually three different color schemes. Oh, wait. There you go. There's our three color schemes. So that is my Candish army, but three different colors. Oh, here's some more archvillain stuff. Again, for folks that were asking about 3D printing stuff. And of course, their newest release is more lizardmen. Oh, and where's my Here's another 3D printed. This is a Diwali figure printed at 54 mil, and we did a whole series of dioramas on that. So that was really fun. And of course, we have Armada ships again. We have the new, what are they called again? Vanguard fleet. The Northern Alliance Vanguard. Yeah, that's Northern Alliance fleet. So Pascal might do some streaming tonight. Okay, so it's 200 mil deuce. I think, is it Gamlin or is it Williamsburg that sells the 100 mil plastic? Uh, what would you say? Uh, I don't have one. The little almost like the same stuff our basing materials come in. Little hard plastic case here. Let me get some light on this. Sorry, the brain is not doing good with the words. Oh, geez, Pascal, that's fantastic. I know that I had asked just out into the ether a while ago. Actually, both of us were wanting to, well, I wanted to use the oil paints to paint nativity figures with the same kind of effect that we do here. You know, more of a realistic kind of a thing. And I've been trying to search for STL files, and I have not had any luck with some decent STLs. Usually they tend to be very simplistic and just a couple of figures. Now, I was looking obviously for something that has at least 9 or 10 and a little bit more complete. So, Pascal, that is going to be really fantastic. So, I think I'm going to have to go back and get the upper lip a little bit darker here. So, let's do something like that. That's the Egyptian violet we mixed it with. That's actually, it's not Fanchon red. That is actually Naphthol red. So I'm going to have to now come back in and lighten this up again. Let's try this one more time here. Let's see. Try this. There we are. Maybe a little lighter. So Rotware, that's really appreciated. Now I can't remember what the name of them. I've seen their stuff a few times show up on Instagram, and it looked really neat. I really liked the files, but these I think I can make some really good tutorials out of them. So we're going to try and snag those. Now here, did I get the green in between there? I never really did get the lighter green between. Let me see if I can do that now. Alright, Pascal, you have a good one. And everybody please give Pascal a follow because Pascal's going to be streaming soon. And again, Pascal is really, 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 really amazing. You're going to want to check him out. And of course, everybody please also give Rottweiler that follow. Rottweiler rated us in Steep T. You have Space Toy, and you have Surface Tension. You have lots of great folks you need to follow. I might try to. You know what? This could be interesting. Let me see what happens here. If I don't like it, I can just get rid of it because we can do that. How's about Prussian blue in here? I don't know how this is going to work. I just a little bit of the pearly black. Is that too dark? Only one way to find out. Let's get just a little bit more into some of the crevices here in the folds. Hey, Kutbowski, how you doing? So Kutbowski, we've been talking about this diorama for quite a while. Once I saw the Make It Epic basing bits, I thought we can make it happen. And I did all the sculpting of this on Sunday on the More Than Dice podcast, and just slapping some paint on here now because this is really fun. I'm really having a blast here. Really having a blast with this. I need to let's see. I need to get some grays down in here. We have too much of the same brown color. We need to differentiate that a little bit. Now, Bithron, now, I think you told me just how long ago it had been since you last had a chance to work on some of those, and now updating them a bit. But that's there's actually well, what's always nice to do sometimes is a kind of a then and now, where you take a miniature that you might have painted a long time ago, and then you try it again with a similar color scheme but more updated. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of new, oh, here we go. Speaking of the same era, this is from the same era here. And we had done this one first, this particular Saruman right here. And then I realized I had the old one, so we based it the same. We did the same textured cloth, right? But this one is, again, it's got to be over 20 years old, but we gave it kind of, what would you say, the modern treatment. Again, I wasn't using oils on miniatures 20 years ago, but there we go. Boy, this Eowyn is really tiny. Yeah. Kutbowski, the Make It Epic helped to make it epic. Now we have another one, and that was the Radagast the Brown. What I have, oh, that's the other thing I got. And thanks so much, Rottweiler, because I have to buy the bunnies. Yes, there's some bunnies from Make It Epic. I got to get those files so that we can print out the bunnies and then finish off that diorama for Radagast the Brown. So I'm just using some Prussian blue down here. It's a little bit different than some of the greenish gray that we have. Just a bit different. Just like in the, remember that Blood Angel we were showing there, and it had more of the greenish color in the shadows. Here we're again trying to make a little bit of a change in some of the shadows here. Hey Thranduil, how you doing? Boy, Bithron, I think someone had given me some Scorn figures years ago, and I was going to try and paint those up. I mean, it wasn't a bunch, it was just a few of them. You know what, I might go full on Egyptian violet here in just a couple of places. Like right here. Let's see if I can darken this up at the same time. There we go. It also, it's a little bit of a dark there on that edge. So again, it's going to tighten up that edge. Here's more my blending brush here. So Edward Stark, or Eddard Stark, sorry. And thank you so much, Rottweiler. Now, Rottweiler, I don't know if you saw these guys. Yeah, I think you rated us when we were painting some of these, right? So these are the speaking of Make It Epic basing bits. See these right here? See all the you see these plants right here, these reeds and cattails. That's all from Make It Epic basing. And this is another Song Ice and Fire unit here. We had a blast with these guys. I was going to try and do a video on magnetizing those things.
So say we all.
And thank you so much. I appreciate all the subs there, Rottweiler. Bush to Crypt Shadow. And Stu Sailor. Hey, Trash is in the house too. Hey, Trash.
So say we all.
We got his Trooper and the Red Smurf. Red Smurf, nice to see you again. And Trash, nice to see you too. Trash is Trash is revealed.
So
Trash
say we
just
all.
got revealed. That's the dangers of lurking. That's the hazard of lurking. You never quite know. When there might be a generous soul like Rottweiler
So say we all.
that unveils your presence. Yeah, Rottweiler. I don't think of all this.
So say we all.
What do we have here? So we painted entire armies of Baratheon stuff. I mean, Baratheons everywhere. Rose Knights, Kingsmen, all that stuff. But then, where did they go? I think they're maybe up here. Oh, we did. There's our Mandalorians that we painted those. Oh, remember these guys? Speaking of Warcry, we did those. Where is? Where did they go? There we go. I got to get these again because it was fun painting these guys up on stream. And then, of course, we did 2 units of those Unsullied and 5 units of Cavalry. Well, technically now we've done 6. And we've done 6 now because of the Blood Riders. Drago's Blood Riders, I think that's what they're called, right? But Rottweiler, I painted up an entire Stark starter box and even more, but not into traditional Stark colors. He actually he wanted to use it as more like looked more like Agincourt because we did the blue and yellow quartering, and they actually looked really good with the blue and yellow quartering. So the same Stark miniatures, but treated in a little bit different way. Now here I'm going a little bit darker, and then we'll have to come back lighter with those 2. That'll be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see what we can do. So Sleepy Slang, we'll have to make a Radagast house like you said. And then of course lots of little bunnies. And who is Sebastian? And that's his little I think it's not a bunny. It's a oh gosh, what is Sebastian? He's a nasty little bugger. There we go. See, that's what I needed on the other side, right there. And that was actually a little bit of the Severus blue, of all things. You know what? I want to see what happens when I try and do a little bit of Severus blue. There, wow, that's lighter than I was expecting. Now, Rottweiler, do you have the new Stark stuff? Because didn't they redo basically the Lannister and Stark starter set figures? Because there's new halberds, right? There's new, and of course, well, you can see I think on the Instagrams we got the old Hallberg unit. A hedgehog, thanks, Sleepy Slang. I was gonna say aardvark, but I'm like, I don't think it's an aardvark. But hedgehog sounds right. Either that or maybe his name is Sonic. I don't know. But I think he's a little hedgehog, and I forget what he does in the game, but he can be he can be a little bit of a bugger if I remember right. Now let me see if I can get the lighter treatment there on those. It's gonna be difficult. It's right on these little bands right here, right across that area. Good enough there. So thanks again, Sleepy Slang. Appreciate that. Again, the brain is pretty much in shutdown mode. It's also 3:17 in the morning here, I guess. That doesn't surprise me. might try to lighten this up some more. I want to try it here. Okay. All right. Do it this way. We'll take some of the green, mix it up with this. See if that also almost creates a bit of a grayish brown here. Because I want those a little bit lighter, but also not just dark brown. Ah, boy, Sleepy Slang. At first I was really overjoyed. And then I kind of realized, just thinking about The Expanse and some of the other things, where there would be entire seasons that would be amazing, and then there would be other seasons that I just said, wow, that was about 40 minutes worth of TV packed into 9 episodes. And that really, when it comes down to it, in some ways, that's what sort of concerns me, is that it'll just be, it can kind of, it'll swing back to the ordinary. There might be even whole entire seasons that are really good, or episodes that are really good, and then there might be ones that are just kind of not so sure about that. I would obviously love for it to be a colossal success. I just don't know if things can have colossal success anymore. Between some of the demands of just doing the shows and the logistics, I could be proven 100% wrong, and I do hope that's the case. So Rottweiler, I don't have any work in prog. Well, there's some. If you check out the Instagram, well, actually, Rottweiler, if you want to check out the Instagrams, so all of the 2D art, I take about 8 or 9 pictures of each stage of these things. So from the drawing all the way to the finished thing, there's about, yeah, somewhere between 8, 9, 10 pictures. So not so much with the miniatures, but definitely with the artwork there. Yeah. Now Dark Danigan, that was one where folks they kind of said that it kind of made a big comeback. That it started out really hot and then went kind of into the doldrums, and then it's suddenly everybody is excited about it again. So I don't know. I hope that really doesn't happen with the Lord of the Rings. I kind of hope to just right out of the gate they have their mojo and they kind of hang on to it. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I've never seen that. Well, basically, I've seen The Expanse, and I think then there was what, The Boys or something like that, because had to review that for the More Than Dice podcast, because they do a media section. Now here we're just trying to lighten this up a smidge. This is some of the white and some of the radiant green together. Just trying to get a little bit of extra light in just a few areas here. Alright, well, Right Can Wife, I appreciate you being here. And everybody, please give Right Can Wife a follow. And of course, Right Can Wife, definitely 100% behind you there. And of course, you have my understanding of that never ending whirlwind of craziness there. And I know I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, hope that gets better. I'll just say, hope it gets kind of bearable. That's, I think, about the best thing we can hope for in these type of situations, right? Is you just hope you can kind of make it to the next day. So now Dirk Danigan was, I think this is season 6 or 7. Again, I've never seen it, but it sounds like it's been several seasons worth of that Stranger Things. I think that's a show that I've been wanting Kathy to watch. Well, because she's running out of shows. I know we were able to, for some reason, Aloe was back free again on Amazon or whatever. So thank goodness, because we could actually catch that. Now what I'm going to do is get some of the fresh fast mat out here. Just a little touch of it there. So right, Ken Wife, you have yourself a good one. All right, let me just get this out of the brush here. Snag this, and I might just mix that with the Radiant Magenta. I think that's Radiant Magenta, not Radiant Red. Let me see what I can do in a couple of spots here. So it's the last one, that what, season 4, that everyone is seems to be very, very, very excited about. Now what we haven't done is see if I can get a little bit of this light right next to the lip there. Okay, I think that sort of helped. So it was I think it was season. Well, I loved season 3 of The Expanse. Season 4 was kind of and then season 5 was kind of oof, and then season 6 was oh my gosh, where has this been for 2 years? Well, 2 seasons, like not really years. Now here I'm thinking that could be way too late. That even that is a little bit on the light side, but I just wanted a little bit more of the magenta to work its way into that. Okay. Oh, maybe a touch on this side too. Where's Mr. Blending Brush? Well, Dirk Danigan, I'm glad that you were able to enjoy the heck out of that. All right, here, let me see if I can get a little bit of our. But now we got the violet in there. This, we're gonna say that's a. See that shadow there? Yeah, that's kind of just reflecting the shadow. Now I do need to get some, I think some lights on the sword hilt here. I don't know. Let me see what happens with this. Just some well, not just the Terra Rosa. A little bit of the asphaltum there. Bingo. That's it's getting already a little bit too much mid-tone. I need a little bit more dark there. Now I think I can come back in here with some of this brilliant yellow pale. Now that's from Williamsburg. Hey, Silly Moss, how you doing? So I think there is still one more season. I don't know how many, one more, whatever, but I think there's another season of The Expanse coming up. Again, I don't really, I'm not always up on that kind of stuff. I don't really, those are the only shows that I've ever seen. I think the last movie that I saw was years ago. That was the Midway movie, so that was like in 2019 or something. Yeah, I think that's the last time I saw a movie. Let's see if I can get a little lighter here. I might also have to throw a little more, I think some warm colors into the mid-tone and shadow areas of the hair on her here. I think so. So Silly Math, I hope that you're having yourself a good, what is today? Well, Wednesday. Now it's Wednesday morning. I don't know about streaming on Thursday. I think that might be another bridge too far with the house guest that's coming here. So that could make things very dicey. We'll just kind of see how all of that goes. Silly Maz, yeah, Silly Maz joins that very exclusive club. Yeah, It's not really a membership that you want. Don't really want that membership in that particular club. I would like to trade in my membership to that club. Sadly, I'm resigned. Pretty much resigned myself to having no sleep over the next probably 2 3 weeks or so. That's probably how that's going to play out. Now let me see if I can't lighten that up, but just a smidge more on their forehead. I think we also need to make a little bit of a scowl on this. Yeah, let's see if we can do that here. We can try it by adding a little bit of the light there, but I might want to just come back in with some dark too. So Bitron says there is no seventh season. Thranduil, they now of course. Are you talking all brands, or is there one that's a little bit more, what would you say, noticeable than other ones? The paint comes out of the tube pretty darn thick. It comes out pretty thick, and I think you can sort of see it in when I'm doing some of the color charts. Yeah, doing some of those color charts you can see, because I'm just mixing it right out of the tube. I'm not thinning that down at all. So Thranduil, again, you've seen me do this a bunch of times, right? So here again, this brush right here. Well, actually, here, look, we can do it over here. This is straight out of the tube right here. This is straight out of the tube, radiant violet. Yeah. Now, if you feel like there's too much on there, you could have a paper towel. You could have a sponge like this. You could see how it got rid of a whole bunch of stuff on there. And you can see there's not too much paint getting on here. There's very little paint. Also, look at how I'm holding this brush. None of this, right? Because that's not going to work. Very, very light touch on this brush here. Look at this. Look at my hand is. It's closer to the end of the brush than to the front of the brush. And so little paint, yet look at how, here, let me zoom out here. There, a little bit like that. And we'll do it again here. You can see how that's starting to turn a little bit darker. But look at this, there's practically no paint on there. But because of the wonders of oils, looky here, I'm still going. It's like the Energizer brush. It just keeps going and going and going. There's some more. Poof. There it is. Now you can see that's basically all nice and dark. Let's try and change this up a little bit. There's more of the violet. And again, I'm going to take one of these sponges here. I'm just going to take some of the excess off. And we'll have at it once again. Like so. Here, let's get this. But it's very, very important that while you're holding the brush, again, just got 2 fingers on the brush here. Hey, Orchrist. Everybody, if you could please give Orchrist Studios a follow. Orchrist, I hope that you're doing okay. Hope that you're doing all right. And again, everybody that's maybe at Gen Con, I don't know, maybe you're, well, let's see, it's Wednesday morning. Maybe you're a dealer that's up all night in some kind of a line waiting to get in to get your booth put in. Armored Wolf, again, will be at booth 2713. You know what? I'm going to switch gears. This is the Radiant Green right here. Just changing that a little bit. Now, sorry that those are kind of in recovery mode there, but hopefully it is a recovery mode. And again, what I might think about doing is taking some of the heavy gloss gel, actually mixing it with, oh gosh, either the Green Stuff World Intensity inks, or if I have the right color, some of the contrast paints. That might be a video that I try to do. Yeah, once this is all dry, I might just try to do that. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I thought it would kind of give these that sort of stalactite or whatever look from the glittering caves. And again, these are from Make It Epic Basing, and there's our Eowyn right there. So I think we're all caught up. I think so. I think we are. Now let me see. I'm going to take away a little bit of the magenta. Now I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. It's just straight up and down. Oh, let's zoom back in again here. I'll do the same over here. So I'm not looking to blend colors. I'm just looking to take the edge off of that a little bit because I want my edge to be up there, don't I? Looking at the hair again. I want to get some more of the warm colors in there. And I'll just use this Terra Rosa. Maybe a smidge of the asphaltum here. I don't know. Gene, thank you so much, Gene. I appreciate that. I really, oh gosh, I just wish I had my portrait bust that I sculpted. It's driving me nuts because it's literally just outside this room. Yeah, I think it's just outside this room. I wish I had that to show you, but well, we have this. We do at least have this, and this is just there she is right there. So we got that's going to be a fun little backdrop for her right there. So thank you so much, Gene. Appreciate that. Now we're going to try and also warm up the hair just a smidge right here. Ah, there we are. Poof. There it is. So also too, you can check out my Instagram. I got the finished pictures of that Eowyn, basically a portrait bust that I sculpted. That's also on my Instagram, just Wapelius. Again, I used to have that here, but it seemed like taking away the graphics helped, because if you remember, this machine still has to be fixed. I was able to snag the RAM chips and get those put in, but we had to get that new SSD drive. That has not been put in yet, because that's a little more complicated. Thanks, Bithron. So Bithron was kind enough to post a link to the Instagrams, and you can peruse that, and you'll see my sculpted Eowyn bust there. That was really fun. I'm hoping at some point to be able to do some 2D portraits. Now, obviously, a Gandalf and an Eowyn, and so those would be very fun to do as portraits. And thank you so much, Bitron. I appreciate that. Again, normally Armored Wolf would be doing that, but Armored Wolf is at Gen Con right now. So everybody, again, please, if you're at Gen Con, please make sure to visit Armored Wolf at his booth. So I'm going to go back with the indigo here and restore some of those lines. Again, these bits are from Make It Epic Basing. The miniature itself, that goes back a long, long time ago. Thank you, Dark Danigan. Dark Danigan just posted a link to the Patreon page. And we just finished our latest army painting series. It's well, these aren't, well, they're not going to be magnetized because some folks actually get some of the miniatures there, but this was a combination of a few things. TMM, a little bit of freehand. Yeah, all 12 of these guys, that kind of extensive freehand. So here's, this was our color test figure right there. So again, got the TMM going, and of course the basing is also a part of the video. Well, it's episode 1. First episode of every army painting series is always basing, because we love basing. So again, thank you so much for posting the sculpt of Eowyn. I actually did sculpt a miniature of Eowyn back in probably 2004, something like that. Maybe I should try sculpting a miniature again. I don't think they ever did Eowyn. Well, speaking of that scene there of Medjugorje, I don't think they ever did a miniature of Eowyn at Medjugorje. Yeah, Dark Dan again. Now, let's see. There's a Dark Sword vid that I want to do, and then there is a. Well, this could be. I don't know. I guess it would be sort of a basing video. I also want to try. Oh, and I think it actually will be maybe combined with the. Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe with the Radagast diorama that I did. So might put those two together in a pair of videos or whatever. I never quite know exactly what I'll be able to do these days. Let me see. I don't know. I don't really want to. She didn't really have a ton of makeup on, so I don't think we're gonna go too crazy with that. I was just about to throw some more on, but I think we'll just leave that as is. See if I can darken that down, and I'm gonna maybe throw a little bit more of the Severus blue in here, and this is the same Severus blue. And this figure right here is pretty much of the same era. This is all metal. Both of these are metal figures. Even this banner is metal. Look at that. That is a solid chunk of metal right there. All of this stuff is metal. Metal horse, metal figure, metal everything. Severus blue. It's going to go there. And then we'll take a blending brush to it. Like this. Boom. You can see all I did was literally just throw Severus blue there. I didn't do anything else. There was no mixing, nothing on the palette. I just took Severus blue, slapped it on there, took this blending brush, which is just a little soft craft brush, and then a little tap, 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 kind of Morse code. And all that does is just kind of soften things up. You want to take away some brush strokes. Now we call that the brushstroke management phase. Now I'm going to sneak on over here again. Let me see what I got on the brush here. I'm going to take some of our greens here, and we'll just look at this. Nowhere near that fair. Am I doing this? Kind of shy there, right here. Look at this. My fingers resting on the plaque there. Boom! Look at that. See that? Nice and easy. And we'll do the same here. Yep. Look, do you see this brush shaking at all? Not so much, right? This is actually on the table. My hand is actually on the table here. This is resting on the piece of wood. And look at all the fun stuff I can do. Here we're going to switch to the radiant blue. Thin this down a bit. And actually, Thranduil, even there, that was basically out of the tube. And then I just hit it with some of the thinner. So looky there. So we started out doing a little bit of dry brushy stuff. Not so dry brushy now. There we are. So Dirk Dan again, I'm hoping to get the 3D printing going again here. Maybe by the weekend, I don't know. But there's, I don't know if you saw, is it not, oh, it's Kurzlik Miniatures. He did Army of the Dead, but also Cavalry. So what I wanted to do was, because we did Army of the Dead, but in acrylics, we did that Army series, oh gosh, now years ago. I wanted to try and do that again, but maybe combine the fluorescent green, but with TMM. So, because we've already done plenty of Army of the Dead and the non-metallic stuff, right? But I thought maybe we could do all the rust and see if we could somehow do TMM with the fluorescent green and rust. I have no idea if that's going to work. It could fail horribly. or it could be a spectacular success. Who knows? We won't know unless we try. So that's one of the new army painting series. There's also some merfolk. I have a bunch of, well, basically kind of undersea basing bits already from Make It Epic, and they've got a bunch more coming. Oh yeah, Make It Epic has a ton of stuff that they're working on. And I got a chance to have a little sneak preview of that. Now we're just switching over here again. This is the Radiant Violet. It's the Radiant Violet. We're going to push some of that over here now. Like so. So Dark Danigan, we'll see what happens with that. The only other time we did anything remotely like that was with the Necrons. Remember that? So we did the Necrons in acrylic, and then the Necrons were one of the first, I think it was the first army painting series where we did TMM with oils. We learned a bunch. Oh boy, did we learn a bunch in that series. And we sure as heck have learned a lot since about TMM with the oils. And that's why I did that one video where, remember, we split the bust in half. We did half of it in TMM and the other half in non-metallic metals, just to show that there's no difference between the two as far as what makes them work. Edges, reflected lights, strong highlight, contrasty type things. That's what makes it work. So you can see that. And those things start to look a little bit more like what Eowyn's got next to her. Do some more of our blue on this, I guess. And then Dirk Danding again. That if you want to, I'm sure it's on the More Than Dice YouTube channel. But I did that diorama for Radagast. What I would like to do is show a few different ways of trying to get the foliage on those fir trees. We'll see if it works. Again, I have a couple of ideas. Maybe we combine a few things. Yeah, Dark Danigan, I did that in acrylics, and then we did it again in oils. But that was, that was when I first got the Gamlin silver, and that's when we found out it had all the alkyds in there. I didn't really know what the alkyds were at that point. That was an interesting lesson. All right, just gonna throw in some lights. I'm also gonna just take some of the edge off of those lights there. All right, let's go back to this now. And it was the Marion Street. So instead of the Marion Street, I figured it's time to show this again, right, where we mix the fluorescent powders with the linseed oil. So that'll also be part of the video. The basing's gonna be probably kind of on the simpler side. Nothing super complex. Because I would like them to match, well, my other Army of the Dead. And we actually have some of the Army of the Dead also too on the YouTube channel. And I painted a bunch of them on stream too. There's a bunch of vids on the YouTube channel. Normally I do one or two just regular vids for the YouTube channel each month. That's kind of been impossible with the current situation. Hopefully we can start doing those again. So we already got that green mixed up. I think what I want to try is I've got the alternate fluorescent powders, the ones that I got off of Amazon, and I want to, I think, give those a try, see how those work. Now here, what I want to give a try to is a couple of really light highlights in the hair. I mean, really light highlights. Not too many. Just a few here and there. That wasn't quite where I wanted that to go. We'll take our blending brush to it here. Just again, take the edge off of it. Let's come back. There. Again, this is just the fast matte white. I almost feel like I could put a little bit of my yellow in there, some of the Indian yellow, but we'll just leave it be as it is here. Also might want to do one more highlight on the skin in a few places on her face. Forehead. See, see the nose has gotten a little bit dark on that side. Then the nostrils there, so we'll backtrack a little. There, that's that. I might have to soften that up a little bit. There's just a lot of dark that's right there at that edge. Let's get some of the magenta in there too. Same right here. Now the upper lip, I guess I'll try and lighten that up too. Let me see what happens with this. Right on the upper lip and then a little bit on the lower lip. And the chin, we also sort of need that cleft in the chin. Sort of a distinctive thing there. I don't know if I want it to be quite this light where it needs, but maybe. And we could actually do some textured cloth here, I suppose. I don't know if we're going to do that or not. We could, especially maybe just the where we have these lights that we're adding here. Getting possibly a little hint at some texture there. Some over here. Stick with the light again on the hair. Right at the top here, but not down there. Otherwise, it's all just going to be exactly the same level of highlight. And it's not going to have any kind of shape to it, no flow to it. It was a little bit handier painting the hair on our portrait bust. It was a little bigger than this. I swear her nose was big, about as big as half the body here. Well, Thranduil, do you want probably something that's a bit of a warmer green? So maybe something a radiant green mixed with maybe something like a radiant yellow mixed with a phthalo green. That's going to be a pretty intense type of a warm green there. Actually, Threnyu, you can watch some of the old, well, probably the one like Isengard. Even that's got some warm greens to it, but this is the one I'm thinking you might want to check out this. That's some summery greens right there. That was probably mostly, I would say maybe the radiant turquoise and a little bit of Indian yellow and then some brilliant yellow pale, something like that maybe. That could possibly do the trick. That's got a little bit of Indian yellow to it, and I'm just trying to see if there's too much light that goes back there, it just is gonna, yeah, that's gonna be too much. We'll just have to say no. A little bit of the Egyptian, or sorry, the radiant violet on the ends of her shoes there. Now the underside of her nose. Let me see. I'm gonna get my whoops, wrong thing here. Let's see which one of these. It could be this one right here. I think I need to make that a little less expansive a highlight on the nose. That's going to be tricky. Let's see what happens with this Terra Rosa. Hopefully that's not going to be too dark and make that nose too sharp. I think to make, I'm going to just get a little more of the dark there. Yeah, I think that works for, well, the scowl such as it is. Come back here to some of the lighter skin tone again. Well, of all the time I knew there was something I was forgetting, and that was my portrait bust, because I was going to actually kind of use that as a bit of a reference for some of our color here. Now I'm trying to almost do a little bit of a brushstroke management. Now that little, oh gosh, that's going to be tough doing that little cleft there, but let's see. I mean, she's barely an inch tall. She's actually a lot shorter than some of the other figures are. Well, that just didn't quite work there. Part of it is the hair comes right in front of her face. You know, I might just have to lighten that up, that hair. I'll start it off with the Brilliant Yellow Pale, see if that works. It's just going to come right in front of this oak. Yeah, that's probably for the best. And now the upper lip. I don't want to make it too pronounced. Let's not make that too pronounced here. Let's just do maybe that much. A little lighter on the surrounding chin area. I think we're good on the skin there. What about the fingers here? Oh, the knuckles anyway. There, she had a couple of knuckles. She didn't have 4 of them. That was important. Now I might also, while we're working with some, that's a little too much red. Okay. I think we need to do that too. And we'll just set that aside. Let the paint have a chance to set for a bit, and then I'm gonna try and go back into this and work on our glittering caves a bit more. You know, we've switched our grip. You know, well, not really switched, but our grip is way farther back on that brush. So it doesn't really show up. Boy, it's only in this one picture over here. Again, you can just do a quick Google search for the glittering cave scene, and you can kind of get an impression for what I have to do. Is I've got to take that heavy gloss gel and really mix in some kind of almost, well, Terra Rosa / Indian Yellow, and mix that in with the heavy gloss gel, and then just kind of drip it over the top of this. Because obviously this looks, I mean, it has kind of the same texture as far as the rock goes, but then the stalagmite stuff, there is no texture of that here, so we need to somehow get that added. Hey, Bithron. Actually, well, here, let's point out some of the things so you can see that that's that Severus blue there, and the magenta. When we killed the color on this, you're going to see that Severus blue is the same value as everything. It's a color difference. So actually the values should probably compress. See that? See, there's actually, it looks like the dress has less contrast. Why? Because A lot of the contrast that's in there is color. It has nothing to do with lights or darks. There's a blob of Severus blue here that you can't see because it's the same value as everything else. We're going to bring back our color, bring it back, and now you see that? See, it's right in there. So Thranduil, my favorites are always going to be the ones that I sculpted myself, right? So that would be these. I think the War Priest always is going to be a favorite of mine. And of course, I did really enjoy my Army of the Dead stuff. Now, of course, I think I can actually grab him here. Here he is. I mean, this is another one where we did all the sculpting on that. That was really, really fun. So generally, a figure that I did. Oh, where's my? There he is. So my Imrahil right here, where we did all the sculpting of the armor and the flag. Again, more armor over here. So those are always going to be my favorites. Is the things that we sculpt. Vithron, it's really amazing what it shows. Right, we never really know what the heck it just might show or really make stand out until you do it. And of course, if you want to do that with your own miniatures, you could just take your phone. Every phone's got some kind of app on it that lets you just desaturate it. So you'll have nothing but black and white. You'll see your miniature in a whole new way. Because there's several times where I intentionally have something that's a heavy duty contrast that's only, say, a warm versus a cool, or an intense color next to a really muted color. That happens a lot with our object source lighting. That happens a ton. So you would say hey, you'd have a fluorescent green, maybe next to a very dingy brown or orange or something like that. They may be exactly the same value, but boy, they're certainly gonna look different until you do it the black and white, and then it takes away all of the color and you're just left with the value. So when you're trying to get, was that the feedback or critiques or whatever, you're doing painting contests at conventions and you ask the judges and they'll say boost the contrast. You can say, well, which one? Is it value contrast? Is it edge contrast? Color contrast? Saturation? What is it? There's like 7 of them. What's it going to be? Or is it any combination of those? See that? You'll sound like I know what you're talking about for sure. So yeah, there's basically any phone app. I mean, gosh, going back to like Gen 2, 3G phones or 2G phones, they had the ability to do that no problem. So it should not really be difficult at all to be able to do that with your own miniatures. Oh, let me back out of this again. There we go. And it's a quick and simple thing, and boy, does it show you a lot. So here we're also trying to set up another potential contrast. A lot of blue in here, a lot of grayish blue, some greens, some purples, or some violet or whatever. But over the top of that is that kind of weird sort of waxy stalagmite type thing that's growing over it or dripped over it like wax. That is going to have almost like an Indian yellow Terra Rosa look to it. So it's going to be a much more intense coloration. I was hoping for that because that's also going to help the dress and everything contrast more when you have all that yellow. Same thing, and it's also going to, well, guess what? Color goes somewhere, it must go everywhere. The hair, some of that is going to be going back there on the diorama itself. So again, these are basing bits printed on a Sonic Mini 4K. They are from Make It Epic Basing. So Make It Epic Basing. And I do believe, and they've told me this, if you mirror the files, you actually end up like doubling the type of files that you have. I didn't think that was going to work. I have not had a chance to try that yet. Once I've tried it, I can let you know if that actually works, or if somebody else has already done it, then you can tell me one way or another. So yeah, Thranio, we only have ever had the Android style phones. Never the last Apple product I had. We're not even going to say when the last Apple product was. It's been a long time, to say the least. Now again, just yeah, see too much. See, we thin that down, but see that? See what just happened there? It almost became like a pin line wash. We don't want that. Just gonna take this, and it's got a little bit of the indigo on it. So see, there's too much thinner there. You can have enough thinner to make it flow a little easier, but then again, remember the oils are more like that really fancy, snazzy restaurant butter that flow really easy. Acrylics are more like peanut butter combined with taffy and gravel and some glue. It's really hard to get those to spread around and flow, so that's why you have to put a ton of water in them. Don't need to go there with the oils. You'll be amazed at just how easy it is to get a tiny bit of oil paint to flow across your miniature. Typical thing is somebody that's kind of getting into oils, new to it, whatever. Usually the first thing that happens is within about 5 minutes you have 50 times too much paint on there. It happens. You keep doing it, you'll have less and less. It's just a matter of practicing and getting the feel for it. That's why my figures take so much less time to dry, also, because I'm just not putting as much paint on there. Not putting any kind of weird stuff in the paint, just using less of it. And that it just kind of happened as I was using the paint, and I went, oh, yeah, I don't really need that much paint, do I? Or I just thinned it down more, or I did the dry brushy stuff. Well, Thranduil, if you already have the black spinel, the Mars black might be a little redundant. If you don't have the black spinel, get yourself the Mars black, because it's cheaper and it does some nifty stuff. Now, again, I've never used the Gamlin version, but people that have said, yeah, it's pretty close, reasonably close to the Williamsburg. The Severus Blue, I haven't had a chance to test it out a lot. It would be very nice for sky stuff, right, in on our landscapes. The ultramarine blue from Williamsburg. What was the big surprise about that was the intensity of it and how matte that dry. Look at how matte that is. There's no anti-shine on this or anything. Look at how matte that stuff is. I should have known by looking at the label, because again, the Williamsburg puts the actual paint on the label. But that, of all the surprises, again, right, Dirk Danigan, that's why we do this instead of theory hammer. We actually paint the stuff and try it. Man, it's amazing what I end up learning as I do those. So here again, we got some nice little action here on our rocks. Let's go back to Eowyn again here. Wait. First, though, I'm going to go back here. Let's use the Radiant Green again. I'm going to try and find a couple little spots right there. Like so. Okay, so Thranduil, if you already have the black spinel, that's the Mars black. It was really just trying to find a less expensive alternative, and also something that wasn't Gamlin, just in case people maybe couldn't get the Gamlins. I think just about everybody makes a Mars black. Basically, nobody else but Gamlin makes a black spinel. The Severus blue is superior to cerulean blue. That's for sure. Just so many levels. That's more of the Egyptian. Sorry, that's the not Egyptian violet. It's the radiant violet. All right, set that aside and back to Eowyn here. Lady B, nice to see you again. Nice to see. I hope that everything is good there. Oh, it's gotta be Wednesday afternoon there, if not getting to be maybe close to supper time. Was it maybe 6:08 p.m. in Melbourne or something like that? Again, sometimes I get that wrong. But I hope that things are going okay for you. Finally getting to paint this Eowyn figure. I've only been waiting for about 20 years to get the chance to paint this thing. And I'm actually getting to paint it on stream. Here, let's get a little bit closer to her again. Bam, there we go. See, you know what? What the heck? Let's do. Ooh, let's try this. So we're actually getting. I can actually see now I have some Egyptian violet on the brush because I do. So yeah, it's definitely there, Lady B. I can see it from here. Uh, for whatever reason, I don't know if they've improved Twitch on the phone at all, but Twitch is just not super fantastic on the phone. Unfortunately, that's the only time I ever get to see Twitch is on the phone. I would much rather get to see it on, well, a big screen or something. That would be way more fun. Now again, the Egyptian and Radiant Violet combo there. Now, what I have to do is take a little look-see over here and see what we've got on this. So let me do the dry brushy thing on this once again. So make sure we get some of that stuff off of there. And I'm just trying to get this more in tune with the miniature. I can always stick the miniature on there and then come back and fool around with this some more to try and match it even closer. Thanks, Lady B. It's been really fun doing this Eowyn figure. I wasn't quite sure. I was more thinking about the ginger blue, but I'm kind of glad I went with that seafoam type of green there. And I think that was pretty well worth it. Let me go a little lighter, perhaps. Right there. So again, we put this together on the More Than Dice podcast. That should be on their YouTube channel somewhere by now. In fact, I'm sure it's already up there. And you can kind of see how we made this. And that this was, I think, all of a half an hour, seriously, to make this whole diorama. And again, the figure just goes right in there. We start out with Desert Dry Clay. We sort of shoved some of the basing bits from Make It Epic in there. Then I started to put some tree bark there. That's what all this is, tree bark of various sizes. Well, Thranio, I know it was, well, it's certainly been toasty here as well. Hopefully, it seems like it has cooled off in Europe, at least a little bit there. Let me see if I can't. It would have been really nice to maybe have my Fanchon Red. In lieu of that, let me see what happens when I take that other red, the Naphthol red. We just mixed it with a little bit of the Radiant Yellow. Warms it up a smidge. Okay, that is it. That's that little bit of color that I was hoping to get there. Leo, again, It's so funny because well, I think there were people that wanted to give us honorary citizenship to Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Of course, we wanted to have an evil fjord in Norway where we could just build a painting lair and nobody would be totally undetectable. Big acrylic could never find us there. Of course, living in the Arctic Circle would be, I don't know, I would love for it to just be, well, I guess if we were to say centigrade, somewhere about maybe 2 degrees centigrade and sunny all year long, that would be my dreamscape for weather right there. I don't know, maybe it could get to about 4 degrees Celsius or something like that. As long as there was sunshine, we want that crisp air. That would be very nice. All right, let me. I need to still lighten that edge. I guess it is a collar-ish type thing. Yeah, here, let's lighten this up right here. Wasn't sure what that was. Lighten that too. Now the sword here. We have several darks on it. I want to find some more lights, I think, so maybe I'll even use some of my radiant green, touch of our fast matte white here. Let's see what happens with this. Up here or down here? I think down here. Bingo, that is another thing that was missing. More of our light there. So, oh yeah, that's right. We did manage to see a few more episodes of Allo LO today. I think it's still the first season of that, and that's why one of our my let's see, battle report videos for Bolt Action was called "The Bridge to Nuvion." We had Cafe Rene, which is hilarious because just, I don't know, a block and a half from this house is located a restaurant called Cafe Rene. And I went to St. Rene Grammar School, so that's it's like Wappelville is also Nuvion. Let's see. I guess somebody has a birthday. So Leo has a birthday. So that means somebody in the chat has to sing happy birthday, kind of like Marilyn Monroe style. I don't know how you're supposed to do that in the chat, but somebody can try and do that. Let's add a little more of my light right there. Thanks, Lady B. Yeah, the Mimes of Moria. That was a really fun project. At some point, maybe I'll get a chance to do those again. Probably using 3D printed stuff. So some 3D printed gobos or something like that, and then we can slice those up and rework them to our heart's content. Let me see if I can find some more light along the edge here. There. See, we lost that little bit of edge. Boom. There. Okay, and that's better. That's better. Same down here. What about the hair? I think I need to get some light right back in there. I don't want to lighten this up too much. If I do that too much, we're just going to lose all sense of flow in that hair. So it looks like Lady B managed to figure out a way to do that somehow in the chat, just using text alone. And of course, oh, I had a sound effect. I had a sound. It was oh, I know what it was. It was one of my alerts on my phone. Yes, sadly the stupid new phone makes it almost impossible to do the alert. It was hello, hello. This is Nighthawk. Can you hear me over? That was one of my text sounds. Then we also had the soundbite for Michelle. Listen very closely. I will say this only once. That was another one of my sound bites. Alright, that works. A little bit of a highlight on the shoe there. Good enough. Perhaps some right along the edge of the bodice right here. Right there is good enough, I think. And then we're talking about maybe a little texture sneaking in there, possibly. I'm gonna grab my blendy brush here. That's the edge I was looking to snag there. Now, I never really did get any of the severs up there. Let me see what happens. Severs, well, that's kind of a dirty version of severs. Yeah, so that right over here, that should act as a nice little contrast against the blonde hair. Throw some of that into there, and then again, blending brush. Should have no paint on that. And we're not wiping it like this. I just go smear all that stuff together. We're just tapping it like that. That's all we're doing. Hey, Robosh. Oh, gosh. Dark Dan again. What is that? Because he always said nose. What was he trying to say when he just said nose? But that's something about news. He had a news. Because, of course, he was an expert in French, right? Right, Dark Dan again? So Bithron, unfortunately, with the way this phone works, it just I can go to Zedge and try and find those things. It just doesn't give me the option, sadly, to do any of the fun sound bites. The 3G, the old 3G phone that I had a million different sounds for that phone. This one just can't do nothing with it. It's kind of a bummer. Let me see. And actually, that's the other thing too is Bithron. I think with when the phone doesn't update, it also kills all of them. I mean, the old phone kind of did that too. So Robosh, nice to see you again. That's it. It's when he had news. He had news. I have very good news. That's right, Dirk Danigan. Yes. And of course, it is I, Leclerc. Leclerc, yes. And then, of course, the glowing knobs. They can't forget about the glowing knobs. I'm going to actually change that to also a little bit of Severus there. Again, it's not changing the value, light or dark. Yep, there's oh my goodness. And then, of course, Helga and Hair Flick. That was what was always crazy. And of course, the little tank, the SDK 222. All right, there. That's using the Severus blue. That's it's lighter, but I also am again changing the color. Get a little bit of that Severus blue in there. I might do the same over there. So I'm just trying to reflect this onto the sword blade, right? Oh, Bithron, you can get the sound bite. It's not getting the sound bite. It's just you can't. Well, you just can't put it on anything. That's where the bummer comes in. I just was really surprised, so I just kind of gave up. Well, let's put it this way: I could do that sound bite. Everything would have that sound. Whereas what I wanted to have it for just, well, basically individuals. Yeah. Okay. Let's get a little bit of the severs onto the rocks there. Now I'm gonna go back to this one here. And maybe throw a little bit of the Severus blue on a couple of these rocks right here. Look at this. I only had 2 fingers on the brush. That's it. Just the 2 fingers. And there's very little paint on that brush. There is not a whole lot of paint there. I'll go with, gosh, the lighter green on this. No, I want to match what we have on Eowyn's base, I think. Got a little bit of the radiant turquoise. Yeah, a little bit of the radiant turquoise and then some of this here. Don't want too much thinner in that here. There. That might work. That just might work. There. And then I'll just hold up our Eowyn next to this and see if we have about the same level of highlight as we do on Eowyn there. Alright, Eowyn comes back. It's pretty similar. Maybe a little more of the... Oh, indigo. That's right. We got sitting right over here, too. Some of the indigo and the yellow, brilliant yellow pale mixed together. And of course, Dark Dan again. And in Nuvion, we also had the... well, we had the Fallen Madonna painting in there, too. That was in one of the buildings. Yes, indeed. That was so much fun creating that landscape. And all the buildings made out of pink foam, exactly the same way that I made the all of our Lord of the Rings buildings. Same concept there. And just throw a little bit of dry brushy stuff there. Again, that's back to that's the indigo mixed with a little bit of brilliant yellow pale. Not as intense as, say, the radiant green. Be sort of in the same family, but definitely not quite as intense. Well, you know what? Go back with some of the darker stuff, like indigo. We've been doing an awful lot with the light. How's about we do some indigo now? Like there and there. I'll back out a bit. I keep forgetting that we're on our diorama base here. And we don't need to be quite as close up to it as when we're working on Eowyn. Let's snag a few little darks. There, I mean, these are in the foreground, so foreground, middle ground, background. So here's your foreground. She's getting to be more of a middle ground, and then we have the background here of those taller. So that way you can see kind of an idea of the composition here. You have a large element, you have the one tallest element, and then you have varying heights here. Now you have clusters of things instead of just spreading them out evenly everywhere. And now with the eyes here, I'm going to that's going to be really, really tough, but I'm going to see if I can maybe do that here. There's my fast matte white. Not sure if we can make this work or not. It could be we end up just having to paint over this again, but let me see if we can make this happen. I'm just going to get some of the excess of it off here. See if I can put almost a little bit of a highlight thing on her eye here. Again, just want to make sure we don't have too much paint on there. Okay, there's a tiny, tiny little. That was too much. That was a bit too much. So, whatever. Just go back here, grab a little bit of the indigo. And we'll just put the eye back in there again. Let's try and get a little bit of our light in there now. Again, some of our light here, right there. Take some of that paint off. Almost got it. So again, we want her looking off that way. It's sometimes much more interesting to have the miniature looking sort of off screen or not directly at you. I want to look at a different little. Here, let me look at a different picture here. That's what she does. Okay, we gotta make the eyebrows darker. All right, good to know. We'll do that here. Well, maybe not too dark. I think that sort of helps a little bit. Back to this light again. Somehow, we just lost a little bit too much of our light in the eye. Now there we go. That's what I needed. And now let me see if I can get my picture back here again. Because we darkened down the eyebrows, but now we have to lighten the skin by those. Let me see if I can do that with just this. Well, it's our original Terra Rosa Brilliant Yellow Pale mix, but now it's got a bunch of other stuff in it. And that's going to go here. A little bit of it there, not too much. Yeah, definitely. There we go. Okay, we got some expression on that face. That's good. And I might also make that a little lighter. Okay, that softens that. That was a little bit too hard of an edge. Well, Crazy Wolf, thank you so much. I know you've been here since the beginning. I appreciate that. And like I said, I'll shoot you. I always try to send people a picture of the package and stuff. So yeah, I'll get you a picture of the package with the tracking number, all that good stuff. And I'll send you that message. And Crazy Wolf, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that's been keeping me company here. This was not the greatest of days, so I really especially appreciate everybody hanging out. I didn't send out any messages that I was going to be going live because I was not sure. It wasn't until 5 after 1 when I said, okay, I'm going to go live because I really wasn't sure if I wanted to try and paint this. I was going to try and maybe do some object source lighting off camera either side. And in the end, I just said, nah, I'm not going to do anything super crazy with that. I can always do a second one of these. So I can always do this one again. Here, I'm going to take the Egyptian Violet and the Asphaltum for a few little darks here on the... Now, if there's some folds here that kind of got lost. And let's see, now it's what 4:32 in the morning here, so I guess not too many folks who are at Gen Con are really awake at this time. I had hoped to do a daytime stream, that kind of got blown up, but who knows, maybe in the next couple of weeks it could be possible to do a daytime stream, just with circumstances here, I don't know. So, I'm going to see if I can't sneak in a few. There we go. You know what? I think somebody at some point did some LO figures. I just, if I had the ability to do the digital sculpting thing, I would most definitely sculpt some LO figures so that I could have them for bolt action. I don't know. Well, 1,000 Young, well, it's a little bit, it's not quite the right time for 1,000 Young to be joining us here, but maybe, maybe I can get 1,000 Young to make some. I mean, it doesn't have to really look exactly like them. I mean, just as long as the costumes pretty much are correct, that's about all it would take. That would be hilarious. So we're going to get some more of our Egyptian violet down in some of the crevices of this. Probably need to get some more darks down here to indigo, perhaps. Down here. And then something in there to separate the two hands from each other. Hey, silly moss. Nice to see you back. Ooh, let's. I'm gonna go back to the asphaltum here, or would it be the Terra Rosa? I don't know. Let me see. Little Terra Rosa. No, that's too much of the asphaltum. This might be just enough here. We have kind of a solid shape there. I was hoping to break that down a little bit further. Sorted it. Now I have to come back in with my lights, and now that'll be the same radiant violet mixed with that same asphaltum. And I'll see if I can restore some of the folds there, not the whole thing. So, yeah, this round it was. I was just thinking of sculpting something really simple. I mean, you have Rene, right? I mean, he could have either the bowler hat or he could just have his apron and be really tall. And Yvette and those two be very simple. One, well, short and one tall. And then, of course, the colonel and his assistant. Oh my gosh. Those would be. Those might be the more difficult variant. Of course, here Flick and Helga. I think those would be pretty straightforward. Alright, let's do a bit more of our darker brown here. So I think now that it is 4:30, I want to see maybe if Pascal is streaming here. So we could raid into Pascal. Have no idea. Let's see. There is Pascal. So he is streaming. And it looks like, okay, so he's actually painting there. So we'll probably head over Pascal's way. Because, oh, and by the way, this is, this whole thing, 3 hours and 18 minutes ago, none of this had paint on it. It was all just primer. So not bad for 3 hours, 18 minutes, huh? Not too bad. And well, that's manual, the bigger stuff. Sometimes it actually is way easier to do with the oils. Well, not sometimes. It always is way easier to do with the oils, and that might be a good way to maybe discover some new things about the oils too. So thank you so much, Bithron, for doing the clips there. We had a couple of really fun new clips because we have a new character for the show. New character. Thanks, Bithron. And of course, thanks for all the raids and everything else. We also want to say thank you so much to Rottweiler for all of the subs and all of the donations here to make that bar even more green. So thank you so much to Rottweiler. Never again, please give Rottweiler that follow too. I'm gonna get the countdown going here. And again, Thursday, if I get to stream at all, it would be a late night stream for sure. And then, well, Friday, Saturday, we'll see. It's possible that maybe I get freed up for more streaming. It is possible. I think early on that might not with the house guest here. I think early on it's going to be a detraction. I think eventually maybe it actually is more of a plus. So thank you so much, Sleepy Slang and Balrog. Appreciate you, and see you later there, Lady B and City Moss. So here we go. We're gonna raid in right now.